Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here. It's Friday Freakout, and sorry for the technical difficulties this morning, and sorry for losing the comments already in the chat. I kind of saw what you guys were talking about there already, so I can kind of go over it and talk about it. Even though I don't know why the stream didn't want to connect to the audio, so I had to reset it up, and I just took the microphone out, and it always works after that. So yeah, today, Friday Freakout, we're talking about news that we're not supposed to know about, which is Tracy McGrady leaking that the NBA is officially going to start a 1-versus-1 tournament during the All-Star weekend this season. And Tracy was not supposed to say that, but we know it. So we know that they're going to do a 1-versus-1 All-Star tournament. And I'm just trying to speculate about who should be in that tournament, guys, today. I feel like they should be all-stars. I don't think that they should do it like the dunk contest. I don't think they should have just jabroni, up-and-coming stars or people that aren't established yet. I think that for this to work, they need to have every single competitor be an all-star, a guy who actually made the all-star team and will play in the All-Star. Now, how big should the field be? Should the field be 4 people? Should it be 8 people? How much time do they have? How long will these one-on-one games will be? What are they playing to? Are they playing to 11? How quick will they go? This is the stuff I've got questions, all kinds of questions about the format for a 1-versus-1 tournament at the NBA All-Star Weekend. Who do you guys want to see in that tournament? I put 2 of the people that I'd like to see in it in the cover photo for the stream today, Scotty Barnes and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I feel like those would be 2 very exciting people to watch play one-on-one versus the best in the league. There could be some real bragging rights here. You come in, you beat the All-Star game 1-versus-1 tournament. You have some bragging rights to say that you did some things against the best in your field in a very solo-on-solo kind of scenario, which is fantastic. So yeah, there's a lot of very interesting things. All right, now the squirrels are trying to break into my house. What the hell, man? This morning, I've been at war with the squirrels already for the last 15 minutes. And this squirrel is literally trying to climb into my chimney right now. I'm looking through the window. This is crazy. Anyway, I'll try not to be distracted. Yeah, anyway, there's some issues here with the squirrels right now. So I saw y'all's comments. If you can repeat them, that'd be great. I loved your words of wisdom, Trevor, where you're saying just when everybody else is doing the wrong thing, always do the right thing still. That's the thing we got to understand in today's society. Status quo that they're trying to fit on people and on the world and society is not necessarily just or right. In a lot of ways, it may be criminal. And, we know what's right and wrong in our hearts, in our souls, in our way of like comprehending the world. We've learned right and wrong growing up. And it's not because somebody got presidency, all of a sudden we got to flip everything upside down and turn to a world of darkness and evil and criminality and just not being just. You know what I'm saying? So especially in times like now when a lot of people may be seeming to like just not follow the rules anymore, or things are just a little bit crazy, or people are doing heinous acts because they think it's just mainstream now, then that's just how it is. No, we know what's right and wrong in our hearts. You can feel it. And it's not right to separate mothers from children. It's not right to murder innocent Black men. It's not right to do all kinds of other stuff like that. And in some ways, we got to remember what right and wrong is and keep our moral compass straight, because other people are going to try to bend it right now. And they're going to try and bend it for all of society against society's wishes. So we are society. We're the ones who make the rules, not them. And they can try and force their perception and their way of life and their criminality, but we don't have to accept it. We can be better than them. We can be better, bigger and better than them. And we will be. We will be. That's what I say. Thank you for your words of wisdom, Trevor J. I love you, man. Thank you for your words of wisdom. Blessing to the Jones family, all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. Amit's here. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Good morning to you, Amit. Good to see you. James was saying in the other chat that he thinks that the Raptors are going to be very good this year, because we have a number 2, a number 3, and a number 4 pick in our lineup now. The number 2 is Brandon Ingram. The number 3 is RJ Barrett. And the number 4 is Scotty Barnes. These are high lottery picks. This is way better, higher lottery picks than our championship team in 2019. We didn't have anybody anywhere near these picks on that team that won the championship in Toronto in 2019. And now we got blue chipper players like Ingram, Barrett, and Barnes. And that means something, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, that means something, because this is the thing. It's one thing to have 3 top 5 picks on your team, but if one of them are not slouching, they're not really coming up or doing what they're supposed to be doing, or they're duds at their picks, well, that's not that impressive. But we've got 3 guys that I'm telling you right now, as long as Brandon is healthy and he can contribute, that are doing the right stuff at what they're supposed to be doing. And we're going to see it. We're going to see it this year. It's going to be amazing, man. Yeah, James says Kyrie is a top ISO guy, but he's injured. Yeah, Kyrie is hurt for this year, and he will probably not be there. A lot of people, the first name that they thought of when it comes to 1-versus-1 was Kyrie. He was like the first person everybody was saying, man, Kyrie's got to be in that for it to be a true competition. And I think that that's accurate. I think that's accurate. And just because of the way he plays and his position and a lot of different things he does individually by himself without a team around him, in 1-versus-1, Kyrie would be very fun to watch. And he might be the person who wins it. Yeah, he could be that person, man. But yeah, it's likely he won't be in it because of his injury that he suffered near the end of last season. So yeah, good point, James. I think Kyrie is a name that is coming up really quick when somebody hears about a 1-versus-1 NBA All-Star tournament. Kyrie Irving's name comes up pretty fast. Yeah, Monique is here. Good morning, Raptor Freak Crew. She was saying about SGA on the other chat that he's joined a YSL team, and that's a youth sports league. So I think that what he's doing is that he's just giving back to the community. And he's running a team with the youth. So that's what YSL is, I believe. I just looked it up. In YSL's youth sports leagues. And I think that Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is just going out there to contribute to the community and mentor kids by having his own youth sports team. And I think that's what this is. I'm not totally sure, though. Good morning, Rap Freak Crew, is Mo saying there. Good morning to you, Superfan. James saying also SGA, Harden, KD, Luka, and some other top tier guys. This is a great list. I think Luka is a guarantee. He should be on there for sure. Kevin's already said he would do it. So Kevin Durant is probably likely going to be involved in this. Harden, that's a very good one too. He'd be interesting. And SGA. All 4 of those are really good choices. Now, if there's a field of 4, and that was the 4, would you be happy with that 1-versus-1 tournament? If there's only 4 and that is the names that are going in there, that's pretty high level names. That's pretty high quality foursome right there. If you're getting those 4 guys to come, that's pretty high quality foursome. And so I got a lot of respect for your list there, James. That if that's the tournament, SGA, Harden, KD, and Luka, that's not bad. That's not bad. And if I had to pick who I thought was going to win that, I'd pick my Canadian guy from Hamilton, Gilgeous-Alexander. That's right. He figured it out in that. Yeah. Amit saying they should do a 16-player format where fans vote. Interesting. Yeah. What do you mean? They have 16 players and we have to vote for the 8 that get to play? No, man, that would be like public rejection for the players, half the players in that. This is the other thing. This may not work with this. This may be novel and really interesting the first time, but it may be ruined right after the first time it does it. Like, I don't think this is a self-sustaining model. I think this will end up being another one of Adam Silver's attempts at something new at the All-Star weekend, and it falls flat on his face and it doesn't stick. Because in some ways that I can tell you what the storyline is going to be with it. They'll have the best group of people involved in it this year. They'll be out there, and it may be a very similar list to what James just put forth. And it'll be pretty fun. It'll be an exciting competition. It'll be very close too. But there's going to be losers. There's going to be at least 3 losers. If there's 4 people, if there's 8 people, there's going to be 7 losers. And just like with the dunk competition, somebody's going to lose value on their brand. Somebody's going to look bad because they didn't win. And one guy will get all the spoils and the glory, and that'll be good. In some ways, that's not a good return rate on success in that kind of situation. And this will make people not want to do it after the first one. They may be like, this is cool. I think I can do it. I want to be the first ever 1-versus-1 champion of the NBA All-Star weekend. And then somebody will do it, and then they'll see the after effects for the other people that didn't get it. And they'll be like, you know what, Agent Rich Paul, I don't want to do this, man, because I seen last year how it didn't help the people who didn't do well in it. And I'm kind of not wanting to mess up my career over an exhibition. This will sound just like the slam dunk competition, just like the slam dunk competition. Because why did people like Kobe stop doing it? Because in some ways they were established and bona fide, and doing the dunk competition is more dangerous to their reputation and their perceived perception in the league. And I think this will happen the same way with this, unfortunately. You know, the 3-point shootout's different because it's a lot more technical in some ways. And maybe the 1-versus-1 would be in the big middle of the dunk competition and the 3-point shootout, because there is some control to the player to control their destiny to win. The dunk competition's rated by people outside, and they decide who wins. It's controlled by judges. The 3-point shootout is controlled by the shooter, making how many shots he can make. So in some ways, their destiny's in their control, Dame Lillard. But in the 1-versus-1, it's probably you're more in control because you're the player playing 1-versus-1. You have some control. So it's a little bit like the 3-point shootout in that way. But in some ways, the losing and going out would be more like the dunk competition. So, man, this will be tough for this to actually be successful and have legs longevity wise. I think it is a great gimmick just for 1 year, but I don't think they should have done it this year. I think this year there's already a lot going on with this world versus North America, or world versus USA, and 3 teams and all this bullshit. You could just gonna make this All-Star weekend just too crazy and too new and too weird in different ways. Last year was already weird in what the format was. I liked the format last year. I thought that they should do it going forward, but a lot of people hated it, and it got rejected. And also, I think they didn't like it because they gave the G League a chance to beat the NBA. And some people are like, whoa, we can't have the G League team be in the finals 4 teams in this thing. You know, if the G League team wins Rising Stars and then goes to the All-Star Final Four in the old format that they use this year, they could win the whole thing. And then the NBA looks really bad because the Development League won the All-Star tournament. You know, that's the thing. The NBA in some ways shows its hand that they want a script right like Vince McMahon to a degree with their sport, when they want to control the types of competitions they're doing, and they do not want certain people winning certain things. Whether it's they are very happy Mac McClung wins the dunk competition because that's marketable and that's a great story. But if a no-name guy came and won the dunk competition over Mac McClung and there was no money to be made off of that, they may be upset about that. They may be upset about that. So, it's manipulations with ref manipulations and storylines and things that how they want the world to perceive the NBA and make it fresh and exciting. How much would they manipulate a 1-versus-1 tournament to get the outcome that they desire? Maybe they want to make sure Luka wins it for sure to help the Lakers and to help possibly foster him as being more of the face of the league. They could script write this shit in some ways, but in some ways they can't, because the players are going to have to determine who is the actual best in one-on-one. So I don't know. It's interesting. I have to see how it all plays out. Really have to see how it all plays out. Maybe they set up the field so somebody wins for sure too. That's another way they should do it. James saying, Lex, who is in your top 5 ISO player list all time? Not currently. Well, I mean, geez. Okay. ISO player list. Well, Michael, you got to always talk about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan could beat anybody both ways. He could beat them by getting around them and going to the basket with dribbles. He could also beat them by spinning around and shooting a fadeaway away from them. So he had a couple of moves where nobody else is involved, and it's just him and his defender, where he beats his defender pretty easy in some ways. That's the way Jordan was. I mean, Iverson's another one. Iverson, even for his size and strength, he one-on-one could beat a lot of people. He could beat a lot of people. Those two guys come to mind first because in some ways they were probably the two hardest people to guard in the whole entire NBA history in certain ways. You know, we can bring up Kobe too. Kobe's somebody that could do stuff to people and embarrass them. Kaz is good morning, Trucker Kaz. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning, Lex and Rapid Free Crew. Congratulations, Trucker Kaz. He has officially won our WNBA Fantasy Championship, and I am second, and Meredith is third. So there's the gold, silver, and bronze. I'm looking at it on our page. The season is over as of last night, and Kaz, you got the championship. And you know what? I got to get your address so I can send you this trophy. This trophy is going to be your trophy for WNBA this year. This one right here, my guy. So I'm going to have to get your information privately and figure out how I can send this to you, man. I know you're somewhere in Ontario, so it's not going to be super far to send it, but I want to make sure you get a trophy for your accolades this year. You like this trophy here? This was the Trevor J. Cup. And I was going to give it to Kenrick, but we've never hooked up. And I've got this trophy, and I figured this will be a nice WNBA championship trophy for you to commemorate your win. So, yeah, Kaz, we got to get together and find out how to send this great trophy. Look at this beautiful trophy provided by Commissioner Fund, Trevor J., to send it to you here in Ontario. Congratulations, man. This is your trophy. Isn't that awesome? It's pretty cool. It's got a star on there and all kinds of stuff. You can put it up and set it down on your desk somewhere, and people are going to say, what is that? And be like, oh, this is my WNBA fantasy trophy. And be like, WNBA, really? Like, yeah. And maybe Kaz will get more trophies, and they'll be like, yeah, that's my NBA fantasy trophy. And this is my second WNBA fantasy trophy. I don't know. We'll have to see. This guy's very good, and he might be collecting trophies soon. So, yeah, Kaz, that's your trophy. And I'm going to have to figure out how to get it to you in the next couple weeks. That's right. Monique's here. 24 more days. Let's go, Norman Powell. Let's go, Morris Peterson. Let's go, Marquise Noel. 24 more days until Raptors play basketball. I love it, Mo. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's the final countdown. I guess it's not yet. It's 24. We got to wait till we get 10 days closer. 10 days close. And then I'll start singing Joey Tempest in Europe of Sweden. Yeah, we're leaving together. Yes, I love my hair metal of the 80s. That's right. Let's go. All right, Amit's saying that, James, I know you didn't ask me, but I'd say Kyrie, AI, Kobe, Jordan, and Harden. No specific order. See, he's got the guys I got on my list too. He's definitely got Jordan and Kobe and AI and Kobe. And those are the three people I think is right. I think that's right. I mean, we could go way back and start talking about some people like even before the 80s. Like there's some very dominant people. I mean, in some ways, you can make the argument that Wilt might be a very dominant 1-versus-1 player in this, or Shaq. Shaq at 1-versus-1. I mean, as long as he can protect the ball and keep his dribble, and the little guy ain't coming and snatching it from him, Shaq can be pretty devastatingly unstoppable 1-versus-1. Most of the time in Shaq's career, a double was necessary. Double was necessary on Shaq most of the time. Yeah, but yeah, Amit's list is fantastic. I like that he has Kyrie with those guys. He's got the two current guys, and then he's got those three. It's a pretty good list. Yeah, most saying, Lex, I read SGA joined YSL, but what does it really mean? YSL is Youth Sports League. So he's joined a league to be a mentor and maybe even a coach. So that's what that stands for. YSL is Youth Sports League. So he's just doing like what a lot of people do. Lowry has his league in Philadelphia. Emmanuel Quickly has his sports team in Maryland. That's all this is. I think that's what it is. I haven't seen the news article, but I looked up what YSL is, and it stands for Youth Sports League. So I'm guessing he's just being a mentor to youth kids and a youth team. And he's like, that's what he joined. Fiercely say, good morning, fam, and happy Friday. I want to see Scotty versus Paulo. That's a fantastic matchup, MJ. That's a fantastic matchup. I love that so much right there. I really, really do. That is amazing. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be against seeing that matchup, because in some ways, you could have Scotty versus Evan. Scotty versus Cade. Scotty versus Cade may be more entertaining, but Scotty versus Paulo would be good too. Scotty versus Evan wouldn't be that entertaining, I don't think. But Scotty versus Paulo, Scotty versus Cade, those are really good. Those are good ones right there. Evan Mobley's not a complete enough player to be in one-on-one versus tournament. I think he'd be very, very poor entrant. A very poor entrant. Yeah, Amit's saying this. Kyrie will be back before the playoffs unless he has a setback. Yeah, we'll just have to see. Either way, I'm not too worried about Dallas because I think it's false that everybody thinks that Dallas is going to be a playoff team this year. I think that they're going to be missing the playoffs or be in the play-in this year. I don't think they're going to make it. I think that there's going to be a lot of dysfunction there. I mean, the post-Luka stuff is still happening. And, they have AD as one of their main people. He's going to be hurt. Kyrie's already hurt. They're going to rely on Cooper Flagg to carry them? No, he's a rookie. And everybody thinks Cooper Flagg's going to be a winning player right away. No, that's not going to happen. So I expect Dallas to be out of the playoffs or in the play-in for this season. Don't expect them to be a super team or achieving really great or anything. I am not seeing this. They're going to be similar to San Antonio the 2 years before this one. San Antonio's going to jump up and get in the playoffs this year, but Dallas won't. I'm pretty sure about this, Amit. Yeah, there's overhyped. We got to understand everything Cooper Flagg has been so overhyped, and the ESPN is going to estimate what they're going to do. They're going to overhype them. They're going to overpush them. They're going to say all this shit about them that is just not true because he has not done it yet. And until he does it and he proves any of the stuff they're saying, I'm not going to fall in line with them and say, oh, he's so great and all this kind of stuff. I have to see whether he's good enough to play in the NBA. And in some ways, people are saying, yes, he is. Lex, you're crazy if you don't think he is. Well, I don't care if you guys think he's good enough. Until I see it, I won't admit it. And when I see it, I will. If I do see it, that's what I'll say. Yeah. Nako's saying SGA is getting a Nardwuar interview. Yeah, I went over this, Gerald. I talked about this a week ago, man. Yeah, I even did a Nardwuar impersonation, and I said I want him to do more NBA players. Yeah, I went in detail on this. I even did a fake interview of him interviewing SGA and what he would say. I think that was on Saturday. Check out the Saturday Share the Love Club last weekend, the one for Kevin Willis. Yeah, there's a Nardwuar segment in there, me talking. You're like 6 days behind, my guy. We covered this on Saturday, my bro. I'm going to know if Nardwuar talked to SGA. Fiercely saying Kyrie would have been perfect, but we have our very own IQ, who's also great at creating without his teammates. Yeah. Once again, I think that the people that are going to be in this 1-versus-1 tournament have to be all-stars. They have to be all-stars. Or it's not, why even do it? Who cares? You're going to have guys. No, you need to have the top stars. And, we'll see if they'll do it this time. If they don't get a good field for the first one, the thing's screwed. The thing's screwed right away. If they don't have a top of the top, creme de la creme kind of list of participants. Kevin Durant is a great person to have him throw his hat in the ring. The rest of them, we'll have to see who steps up. And if they're not the right quality, like if they start picking people like Desmond Bane and stuff like that, I'm going to be like, yeah, this is a lame ass competition. No, they need to pick the very best. In fact, if LeBron does it, that'd be fantastic. That'd be fantastic. That would be very, very good. You have like LeBron and Kevin and Luka, and SGA, and maybe even Nikola. That would be hilarious if Jokic tried to do it. Giannis, put Giannis in there. There's a lot of really cool top level players that could be fun to watch try and play each other 1-versus-1. But once again, the embarrassment factor is very high. The guys could get involved in this event and embarrass themselves in major ways. So it's tough, man. It is tough. I don't know if IQ will get that all-star nod. I would love for him to play so well this year that he has to be strongly considered for all-star. But that's not likely. If we're looking at the pecking order, Scott's the most likely all-star. Brandon's probably second. RJ's probably third. And then Emmanuel's number 4 in some ways. So I would love to see RJ do it. RJ would be fantastic for the 1-versus-1. We see how he can beat people with his strength and his long extension to his layups. and all that stuff. There's a new clip of RJ out from his training with Drew Hanlon, where he's talking about his off season and how much work he puts in, and saying that, during the season, you don't really work out that hard. You don't put in that much work because you're just maintaining your body in the beats of the games. And in some ways, the off season's the time where you go hard and you really work out and you really work hard. And that's what RJ said he's been doing this summer, that he's been in the gym, being a gym rat, and putting in hours and hours of reps, and reps of shots, reps of layups, reps of everything, and just putting in that work and that time. And I love that. I bet you RJ's been very dedicated to this whole summer. We've barely seen him post anything online. That's normal. But in some ways, once again, other people are showing off vacations. Other people are showing off this and that. I hadn't seen jack shit from RJ. And it could very well be RJ's vacation has been in the gym this whole entire summer. And I salute you for that dedication, Rowan Barrett Jr. Yeah, I salute you for that, man. That's right. Mo's saying Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram in the tournament together would be great. Yeah, I mean, it's a 1-versus-1, so it's not NBA Jam. They wouldn't be two together. They'd be against each other. And if it's a small field, they're not going to give us two Raptor players. Nah, it would be lucky we get Scott in there. And honestly, Scott would do well, I think. I think Scotty has the right combination of strength and speed that he can use whichever attribute against whichever 1-versus-1 opponent he's playing. He's playing Kyrie, he's backing him down. He's playing somebody who's bigger. He's going around them with speed. So that's what I would like to see. If Ingram did the 1-versus-1 too, I think it would be very interesting. He could do very well. I'm saying 16 players voted in. Each game you win by you advance. Yeah, I mean, you got to understand, Amit, there's only a certain amount of time on Saturday night on All-Star weekend, and that's when they would do it, unless they want to cut into the Friday night and put it there. The Friday night is always kind of the pre thing with the Rising Stars and the celebrity game. And maybe they could do part of the tournament for the 1-versus-1 on the first night, and then the second night some more. I don't know. And then the last night is All-Star game. That's the other thing. You got to think about, if you're playing All-Stars in the 1-versus-1 tournament, you want to wear them out before they have the All-Star game? Wait, who are you kidding, Lex? Are they working hard in the All-Star game? Come on, man. Listen to yourself. But yeah, that's the thing. Where are they going to slot this in the programming, in the schedule? Are they going to use one of their multiple channels at this point that is covering the NBA to be the people that cover that event in particular, separate from the other stuff? I don't know. Because they can't have a block. If you think about it this way, the slam dunk competition and the 3-point shootout are both 2-hour events. They're both 2-hour events. And then you add in like an hour of skills competition. And there's usually some other competition too, right? So, you got to add up all those hours. You're looking at like 5 or 6 hours of programming that's starting at around 7 p.m. You can't go past 11. So really, you got 4 hours. You got 4 hours. And the dunk competition is usually about 90 minutes. And the 3-point shootout can be an hour at least, if not an hour and a half. And then you got an hour for skills competition and everything else. And maybe even a dumb concert where they have some person come out and sing a song or something like that. Where the hell do they fit in a 16-man tournament? They got to have at least 8 or 4, and that's it. There's no way they can do 16. And plus, how will they get 16 people to commit to this? And also, they probably have to pay them just to be involved. So I don't see a 16-man field. I think that this could even be just a 4-man field. Seriously. 8 at the most. I mean, they want to keep it the round numbers and keep it a real tournament, but you got to think about the programming, Amit, and the time and how they can do this. Fiercely saying Curry's also good. Add it to James's list. Steph Curry, I don't think he would be good. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell you that right now. Steph Curry would not be a good player in the 1-versus-1 tournament because he plays off other people. His strength is playing off people. He's not a very good player by himself. He's small, he's weak, and he's probably easy to guard. So I'm disagreeing, MJ. I don't think Steph Curry would be smart to be in a 1-versus-1 tournament. I think he's smart enough to know that too. This is the crazy thing about the secret of Steph, is that he's an opportunist when people are laying off of him. He's not a very good one-on-one player to get around people and stuff. A lot of the stuff he does is by surprise. He runs up and he shoots a three before people think he would even shoot it, and he makes it. It's that kind of shit. His stuff off the dribble isn't that good, and in some ways, he gets a lot of his shots off his teammates passing to him. That's the truth about Steph Curry. So I'll disagree. I don't think Steph Curry would be good in this tournament because he's not really making his own shots. He's sure he can do outside shots and stuff like that. But where's his mid range or down low in any kind of way that would be useful in this kind of a situation? Because in some ways, you want to be more like a player like Scott that can play from next to the basket to the mid range to the outside. Steph Curry's got the outside, but does he have down low? No, he doesn't. Not in even the least. And how's he going to get there? He's got to do a crossover, get around and hope his defender's slower than him to get around him and try and lay it up. Sure, maybe he can do some of that. But for the most part, his bag of tricks is not conducive for a 1-versus-1 tournament. He really does get a lot of his stuff off his teammates. And that's part of his brilliance in some ways. James saying dunk contest type has gone down. I like this 1-versus-1 idea. Well, maybe that's what they do. Maybe the dunk contest is stupid. And they're like, Mac McClung, good job. You're forever the champion. And we're closing the dunk competition. And we're going to do 1-versus-1 tournament in the time slot on the programming instead. That could be it. I don't know. I don't think people would like that, though. They'd be like, I don't want the 1-versus-1. I want the dunk competition because we have dunk champions and Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins and Vince Carter. Come on now. Nako's saying Jokic versus Shea. Now, see, that would be fun. I don't know how it would go. I mean, I know how it would go, honestly. I could tell you how it would go. SGA would go right around him and kill him. It's not like Jokic is fast enough to keep up with him. Jokic would have to come out and guard him. And SGA would just go right around him when he come out and guard him. Because in some ways, Jokic doesn't have the lateral foot speed to keep up with the speedy SGA. So SGA should probably win that 1-versus-1. Now, Jokic can try and back him down and do all kinds of stuff like that and dominate him with size. But SGA is quick enough, and he's that kind of guy who knows how to strip the ball and steal it. He probably can get the ball away from him, even if Jokic is backing him down. So, yeah, I would pick SGA in that 1-versus-1. And, big guys like Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic are not good for the 1-versus-1. You really want to be an all-round guy who has all levels of shooting from each spot, close to the basket, middle range, because it's you by yourself, and you got to shoot from everywhere. And if you're just a three-point shooter like Steph, or if you're just a big guy who needs this or this, I don't know if you're going to do well. I don't know if you're going to do well in this, Fiercely saying Adam Silver pissing people off by suggesting to watch highlights. I'm glad you brought this up. I was going to bring this up. You can't afford paying streaming platforms. Yeah, it's so elitist. And it's really kind of fucked up. I mean, it's not good business. Seriously. In some ways, you guys are so greedy. You just want to make as much money off of us to watch the games that, we're going to have to own like 5 streaming services to watch the stupid shit this year. And in some ways, it's like, this is like a let them eat cake kind of statement Adam Silver made. It's like really tone deaf, honestly. And it's really dumb, honestly. He's trying to say that we don't need to watch the whole games, that we can just be a highlight. The NBA is a highlight sport, which is really insulting to the sport, honestly. And I can't believe the guy who's in charge of it is saying this, because honestly, if you know what, I'm not in this generation of quick hit TikTok. I'm not in this generation of short attention span. Let's watch something for 30 seconds and then move on to the next thing. Maybe Adam Silver thinks that that's how the ingestion of the NBA product will go forward now, is just highlights. Those are not the right kind of fans to listen to or have any kind of opinion or knowledge of the sport. There's so much that happens that's not in a highlight that's important to watch in a basketball game. And Adam Silver, you're an idiot for saying this. In fact, it's insulting. It's very let them eat cake. If you can't afford to pay all the crazy, exorbitant, expensive prices to watch the NBA at this point, well, too bad. You're relegated to being a highlight watcher. That's what Adam Silver's saying. I'm going to say 2-finger salute Adam Silver today, because that is elitist. That is fucked up. And honestly, you should make your sport accessible to everyone around the world so that you can grow economically. And putting up walls and making it harder for people to get to your product, well, that's not good business. And in some ways, you're an idiot for saying what you said. That's what I'll say right there. Yeah. Seymour saying, hey, they say loose lips sink ships. Well, Tracy McGrady, you are that. I fucked us over back in the day. Now you open up about all-star events and you compared yourself to Kobe. 3 strikes, you're out, bozo. Yeah, yeah, Sheriff. He's regulating. He got up this morning and got on the horse and said, "Regulators, mount up." He went out there Warren G style and came back with this, Nate Dogg. That's right. I love that shit, man. That's so awesome. See, where you getting a dunk, man? This is funny, man. I mean, in some ways, I don't totally agree with them because I kind of like Tracy, but I get why he doesn't. I mean, seriously, in some ways, Vince and Tracy took demerit points this week for this Bills bullshit. Seriously. And in some ways, it's like, you're right, man. You kind of gave him 3 strikes right here. Loose lips, comparing himself to Kobe, and then also screwing us over way back anyway, around 2000. Yeah, okay. All right, I see the math and Seymour's saying, and the math says he gets 3 points on a dunk. Tracy, you got burned, man. 3 strikes, you out. Nako saying this about Adam Silver. Let's see what he's saying here. I love all the chatter, guys. I love all the comments. I love all the action here in the chat this morning. Adam Silver is a butt who looks like a villain from Roger Rabbit. He does look like Christopher Lloyd's character in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The guy who has the dip. Yeah, the dip. Yeah, that's what they called it, the dip. No, don't put me in the dip. No. Yes, Roger Rabbit. I'll put you in the dip. No. He does look like that motherfucker. You're exactly right. He looks like Christopher Lloyd, the bad guy in Who's Framed Roger Rabbit. I know that ain't right to say, but I'm punching up, y'all. I'm punching up at this motherfucker. That's right. James is saying they should do a one-on-one for every position. Point guard. Okay, this is actually not a bad idea. Once again, programming. Where's the time for this? We'll make it a day event, a long stream. I don't know, man. How do you do this? How can we do this in a way with the time and space continuum? I just don't know if there's enough time to do this. That's what I'm saying. Shumore saying, salute the trucker Kaz on getting his trophy. That's right. That's right. W. Kaz from Isaac Campbell. I love it. Benevolent one. Good morning to you, sir. Kaz said, I didn't know there was a trophy, Lex. Yeah, we usually give out awards to the winner every single fantasy. Peter Saborin won a trophy for the NBA fantasy this year. Meredith has gotten rings for his WNBA championship, and he got a little trophy too. So Meredith's got a couple trophies and rings at his house already. And yeah, this is how we've been doing it. We do have some sort of prize for winning the fantasy. And well, I'm going to send you it was originally the Trevor J Cup, but in some ways we're going to send it to you as the WNBA fantasy championship for this year. That's right. So you got something physical to show your achievement. That's right. That's right. And this is no participation trophy. No, this man participated and he won. And he's the number 1 team out of the 10. I'll go over the final standings real quick. This is how it all laid out at the end. Kaz number 1, me number 2, MK number 3, the 2-time champion gets 3rd. Kareem got 4th. Cool Cat is 5th. She did overcome JP at the end there and got the 5th spot. It was very nice to see that, coach. Fiercey got 7th. 8th was a Logical Raptors fanatic. James ended up 9th because he did beat Edmund the last week. So he did not finish last. And Edmund was last at 1-11 and at the bottom of the league. So there's your final WNBA fantasy standings for the Raptor Freak League for this year of 2025. Yeah, Trucker Kaz is the champ. That's right. That's right. Let's go. Congrats to Kaz. Very, very cool. UC's here. I got T-Mac in top 5 1-versus-1 players. That's not bad. I mean, UC's not far off. I mean, we can put Michael and Allen and Kobe. And Tracy's somewhere in there also. We could also make some arguments for Air Canada too. The Vince has some certain things that he can do 1-versus-1 that were pretty deadly too. Yeah. Cool guy saying, was 1-versus-1 tournament announced by NBA Communications, or are we still going from T-Mac? No, it hasn't been announced yet. And they were going to do it though. This is the thing. The story is that Tracy McGrady went to a production meeting for the NBA on NBC, and he saw the paperwork for the All-Star weekend. And he saw that they're going to do a 1-versus-1 on the piece of paper. So he just told somebody on a podcast this week and announced it before NBA and Adam Silver actually officially announced it. So that's why we're saying Tracy's in trouble, because he let the cat out of the bag that's officially happening. And now I'm doing a stream on it in some ways ahead of time before they actually announce it. Now, if they go back and say they're not doing it, this may be Tracy's fault. This may be Tracy's fault that they're not going to do it. But apparently, Tracy McGrady saw paperwork behind the scenes at NBC that is delineating that there will be a 1-versus-1 tournament at the All-Star weekend, and that he has leaked it. That Tracy McGrady is the direct leak of this information. I mean, there were already murmurs about it. Let's not get it twisted. It's not like this came out of the blue and it's actually a huge shock. They were talking about it already. Adam Silver is saying we're investigating whether we should do a 1-versus-1 tournament at All-Star. Fans have been kind of asking for it and talking about it a little bit on the down low and chatter on social media. And, well, I guess they kind of decided they wanted to probably announce it in a different way, but Tracy's going ahead and leak it. So that's what it is. That's what it is. It's not official. But hey, I'm like trying to be ahead of things. So we might as well talk about it now. Why not? Let's talk about it now. That's right. We don't know the format exactly, but you know what? We can speculate about it, at least for right now. Kaz is saying, thanks to everyone who participated in the league. It was very fun. It was a great finals and a hard fought battle. I can send you details through Facebook or Discord. Just let me know. I will. We'll do that afterwards, Trucker. And we'll make sure definitely, and I'll try and figure out when I can get it in the mail to you and get it sent. Trevor, once again, thank you for providing great, fantastic trophies for my channel. Almost all these trophies here have been given to me by Trevor or David Saborin. I appreciate Trevor's benevolence in sending trophies to give to people on this channel. That's right. We will figure it out and we will get it sent to you soon. That's right. Most saying Raptors dropping these mini clips yesterday was Mo Pete game winner, buzzer beater, just to keep us entertained during the offseason and more clips to follow. Yeah, I like the trend this whole summer of dropping almost half hour chunks of games from the Raptors history. You know, we saw the, different games that were important, like Siakam's big 50-point game in Madison Square Garden, like important playoff games we've had, like 2016 Eastern Conference matchup with the Miami Heat, where we saw Goran Dragic playing against Corey Joseph and Kyle Lowry and Patrick Patterson and Bismack and all them. I love these clips that the Raptors have been putting out about the old games. And I like this is the thing, Adam Silver, as much as you say we like the highlights only, I've enjoyed watching half-hour chunks of random parts of Raptor games from the past and just seeing like not all the highlights. There's just a flow of the game and there's misses and there's also like the other team scoring and you see the flow of the game and you kind of remember stuff from those games. So I really appreciate official Raptors admin. This is one thing you've been doing this summer that's absolutely been top notch. It's coming out about every week or two with a 23 to 30 minute clip of unfiltered footage of past games in Raptors history. And I love to get back in those time machine and look at that time capsule and see, oh yeah, this is in 2016. We had Louis Scola still. And there's Bismack and there's Terrence Ross. And wow, look at DeMar. Look at what young DeMar and him and Kyle. And look what they're doing. It's stuff like that. That stuff is awesome. I'm an old man. I'm not a short attention span Snapchatter or TikToker. And in some ways, I want the meat of the game. I want the whole game, Adam Silver. Why are you trying to give me scraps? Why are you trying to give me scraps? That's what I say right there. Yeah. Why are you trying to give me scraps? Seymour's saying Tim Duncan, Scotty Barnes, Bobo. Bobo. That's who you think should be in the 1-on-1? Bobo. Listen, in 2K, Bobo's OP. But not in real life, in a real 1-versus-1. I mean, he was OP a couple years ago. I don't know if Bobo's still overpowering in the 2K, but he was for a while there. There was like everybody had to have Bobo on their team, on their my team or whatever. Tim Duncan be interesting. He's smart. He'd be able to do some sneaky things. And he probably does play 1-on-1 versus a lot of the Spurs, the young guys. Like, he may come in and play Victor just for fun and say, yeah, Victor, let's play to 11. Okay, are you serious? Like, yeah, I want to play you to 11 right now. You serious? Oh my God, I want to play 1-on-1 with Tim Duncan. Oh my God, that shit probably happened. Where Victor comes in and plays Tim Duncan 1-versus-1 to 11 or something like that. That should probably happen. That's right. Cass saying thank you to everybody for the well wishes on his championship. It's awesome, man. My third guy, SGA. That's right. That's right. Naka's saying if Kyrie were healthy, he'd make the playoff. They'd make the playoffs. I don't know, man. You guys are kissing the Mavericks' ass. You guys, you like love this team all of a sudden because Cooper's on it. Seriously, fuck that team. A fucking piece of shit owns that team. And I am anti Mavericks now. And I feel bad for Kyrie Irving. I want him to leave that team immediately because he is for Palestine and the owner of the Mavs is not. And I hate this situation for him. He should be able to be unfiltered and speak his mind. And in some ways, it's not right for him to be playing for someone that's going to make profits, and those profits will turn into bombs that bomb Palestinian children. So fuck the Mavericks. You guys being Mavericks fans, you go ahead, but you ain't going to hear me talk them up. You ain't going to hear me say, oh, this and that about them. Fuck the Mavericks. I hate that fucking team at this point. I loved them when Mark Cuban owned them. I loved them when Luka was there. But ever since last year and the bullshit with Nico Harrison and all the bullshit with Cooper Flagg now, fuck the Mavericks is what I'm going to say right now. You guys going to talk up the Mavericks? I'm going to talk them down in the opposite way. Because fuck the Mavericks. I don't want to see them in the playoffs next year. I want to see them down and out for the count. And that's probably what's going to happen. I'm going to be serious here. I think you guys think that you see all the guys on that team and you're like, oh, they're going to be good. Nope. Watch. Y'all are over analyzing Cooper Flagg to an extent that he's not ready to play at. That's what I'll say right now. Shaq Lindsay's here. Good morning, Shaq Lindsay. Thank you for supporting this channel. Trevor Jason, I want to see IQ and Tyrese Maxey one-on-one. That would be fun. Maybe that's what they do. Maybe they don't have a whole tournament. Maybe they have 1-versus-1 beefs. Like, let's just say 2 players have a beef. Who has a beef? Anthony Edwards and Kevin Durant. Oh, you're going to talk to me like that, old head? That's right. You got all this child support cases. You're bald. You know what? I'm going to take you one-on-one at the NBA All-Star Weekend. And they could even make it a little bit WWE, right? Like have promos ahead of time before it. Like set it up like a WrestleMania card. Oh, Durant versus Edwards, guys. Ooh, did you hear what Anthony Edwards said after the game the other night in Minnesota about Kevin Durant? Ooh, and then there'd be like his promos, and all of a sudden it's like Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania. And it's like very much built up like wrestling. You know, take that real divide between Anthony Edwards and Kevin Durant and make it into something. And then it really seems like the fans, well, they really don't like each other. So let's see them play 1-versus-1. And they don't play anybody else. It's just for bragging rights. It's just like a match on a wrestling card. You just play each other. Kevin versus Anthony. Whoever wins, they win, and that's it. And then maybe you have a couple of matches. Like maybe you have 3 or 4 1-versus-1 matchups. And it's just they're like wrestling matches. They 1-versus-1, just those 2. And then there's a brag. Somebody can brag that they beat the other person. And then, you know, there's more winners. Because of that, there's not just one winner at the top of the tournament. It's more like this is a personal grudge. Work it out. You know, Ant-Man, come on then. Slim Reaper wants to say hi. You know, that kind of thing. That's kind of an interesting idea. Make it a little bit more wrestling. I mean, if it's already a scripted sport like wrestling in some ways, why not make wrestling matches? And there's a real problem between Durant and Edwards. Let's capitalize on that. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? It's kind of cool. I would love to see Tyrese versus IQ. That would be kind of a friendly one. It'd be like, yeah, you're my Kentucky friend. And everybody says we're kind of similar. Let's see who's better. And that could be a very friendly one. It could be very much like Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper in their match that they had on SummerSlam. It's like, oh, Bret Hart, I don't want to fight you. You're my brother, Roddy. Why do you want to fight me, Roddy? Oh, Bret, I'm coming to get you because your dad, Stu, told me you've been doing wrong. Come on, Roddy. I'm your friend. I'm your brother. I don't want to fight you. You know, that kind of shit. And then all of a sudden it's Roddy Piper versus Bret Hart. And they're fighting each other in the ring. And they didn't want to. You know, that could be like that. IQ and Tyrese. You know, it's something like that. Luka versus Booker rivalry. Yeah, this is what we're talking about. We're booking the WrestleMania of the NBA. And it's like Luka Doncic versus Devin Booker. Yeah, or why not? Devin Booker versus the Raptor. Yeah, we get the Raptor out there. And the Raptor, he's all of a sudden like one of the greatest one-on-one players ever, and we didn't even know it. Ryan, oh, wait, why did I say that? No, the guy, the Raptor, he comes out there, and all of a sudden he's just kicking Devin Booker's ass. That would be awesome. It's not likely. Not likely. Shaq Lindsay saying, I haven't seen any clips of a BI this summer. The only thing I've seen is Glorilla. Well, they're out there. And I'll say you can find them if you really dig, Shaq. they're out there and they look good. They look real good. I've seen clips of him working with Grady Oshai, working with Emmanuel, working with Yak, working with Scott. I've seen clips of him in the gym, on the court with those guys, getting reps, running around on the court, doing stuff. I've also seen clips of Brandon Ingram put on more muscle on his arms and his shoulder. So they're there. If you want to go find them, you can find them. And in some ways, we have them in the Facebook chat on our Facebook group and then the Discord. People are sharing them there, and you can go and see the stuff that he's been doing, which looks real good. It looks real good. The way he's moving on the court looks great. And, he's putting in work. And in some ways, like he said, when he came to Toronto earlier this year, he sees how hard our team works on defense. He knows he has to give that same kind of effort here, that's the standard. So he's not slacking in any kind of way. The man's putting in work right now. The one thing I want to say, though, there's a really weird thing that got posted by Brandon in the last week or two, and I'm a little worried about it. It's ominous. Brandon posted things have changed a lot here all of a sudden, and that's after Masai, being dismissed. So I'm wondering if, like, Brandon, because Scotty agreed in the comments. He said, yeah, things have changed a lot. And I'm wondering if the Raptors organization has dramatically shifted behind the scenes because of Rodgers taking over and dismissing Masai and putting Bobby in charge. The Bobby part's fine. A lot of the stuff about Toronto, but I'm really was worried about, the departure of Masai is one of the things that's attractive to the players to be here. It's not the departure. It's him being here was attractive. And I'm wondering that Ed Rodgers being so stupid. Fuck you, Ed Rodgers. He doesn't realize just how much Masai was part of the enticement for very good players to want to play here. I was very worried after they fired Masai that this could have an Isaiah Thomas effect with, like, Damon Stoudemire. When Isaiah had let go, Damon Stoudemire was like, I don't want to play for the Raptors anymore because Isaiah was my guy. Now, I really don't want Scott to be like that because of Masai. But there are some signs that are showing that Brandon and Scott are both seeing drastic changes. Now, they may be commenting on the world, too. I don't know. It's cryptic and it's not specific. But Brandon made a post saying things have changed a lot just recently or something like that. Things are not the same all of a sudden, is what he said. And he could have meant the Raptors organization. He could have meant the government of the United States and the stuff that's happening politically down there. I don't know, but Scotty agreed with him in the comments. He came in and said, you're exactly right. So in one case, I like them interacting and seeing the same thing, but I'm really questioning what they're talking about. Are they talking about things that changed with the Raptors since Masai was wrongfully dismissed by Ed Rodgers and Keith Pelly? Or are they talking about the political landscape of North America because of fuckface Trump? I don't know. I know that Brandon's very left-leaning. He's very liberal. He's very much somebody who has politics like me. And I appreciate him for that. He's a Bernie Sanders fan. He's for Barack Obama. He's for Democrats. So, I maybe he is talking about politics when he says things have changed a lot. It could be he went back to the States after being in Canada with the Raptors last season, and he's seeing really crazy ass changes around the country because of crazy ass policy changes that Trump is doing. So who knows? It's interesting. Colgette's saying, sorry to be off topic. Excited to see the World Track and Field this weekend. Well, I know that you're not the only track and field enthusiast in the Raptor Freak family, so this is fine. I know that Stargate is a huge track and field fan. I don't know where he's been lately. I guess he's just been busy at this part of the summer. I know that we'll probably see a lot of people return right as soon as preseason, training camp, and the regular season start. Our numbers will pick up here because, we're on off season. We're in the dead of it. And yeah, but that's awesome. Track and field this weekend. Well, thanks for letting everybody know. If you guys want to watch some good track and field, it's going on this weekend. That's right. Seymour saying Anthony Edwards versus Kraft Dinner. There you go. That's right. That's it right there. That's right. He could be in there just trying to make Kraft Dinner. It's like he's trying to open the box. Hey, man, the box won't open. Anthony Edwards versus Kraft Dinner. That's right. Nardwar. 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 Hi, I'm Nardwar, the human serviette, and I'm here with Shea Gilgis Alexander. And you are Night work. Night work. Kareem Thomas is here. Kareem Thomas of Polk County football. Shaq, Olajuwon, Kareem, Duncan, Garnett, Malone, Dirk, Pippen, Irvin, Bird, Jordan, Kobe, Iverson, Magic, Nash, Zeke. He's got them in the groupings of the positions. And I think, I don't know, are these the top 3 one-on-one people at each position? Yeah, these are pretty good ones. I don't know about Kareem, though. Maybe I should give him more respect. Yeah, I'm not gonna give any respect to Malone. You can knock him off of there and just put Duncan, Garnett, and Dirk. Pippen, Urban, and Bird. Yeah, I mean, this is old school stuff here, man. I see what you did here. I like the list mostly. I like it mostly. Shaq Lindsay saying BI is going to be an all-star and he will be in on this one-on-one versus one-on-one tournament. That'd be cool. I mean, I like what you're saying. I'm not against it. If this stuff happens, I'll be very happy. I want the Raptors to be good enough this year that we'll get 2 all-stars. If we get 3, that's not realistic, guys. The Raptors don't get 3 all-stars. That's just not allowed by the NBA. If we get 3 all-stars at any point in our history, I'll be shocked. Seriously, even if we're the champions, even if we do really well, the most all-stars the Raptors on one any year will get is 2, and we've gotten 2 many times. But getting 3 all-stars is crazy. I don't see it. And it's likely if there are 2 all-stars, once again, it'll be Barnes and Brandon, probably. I mean, there's an outside chance for Barrett and quickly too. But yeah, I think there's only going to be two all-stars for the Raptors, and hopefully we're good enough and we're high enough in the Eastern Conference that we'll get this consideration. That's the other part. We'd be lucky to get 1 because we know how they are and stingy with this kind of stuff. But if we get 2, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. That's what we want. That's right. That's what we want. Let's see. Kaz is saying, if I'm picking the NBA right now for 1 versus 1, I'm going KD. If I'm picking past players, I'm going to go Dirk or Larry. Interesting. Larry's pretty good. I don't know about Dirk. Dirk's kind of limited in some ways on a 1 versus 1 matchup, like his, but Larry would be interesting. The other problem with Larry, though, is his defense. That's the other thing is, man, you got to be a pretty good one-on-one defender with the person you're playing. And if somebody's faster than you, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. That's why in some ways it's like, look, we can look at the most offensive players like Jordan and Iverson, but are they going to be able to guard the other way in certain ways? That's going to be the other side of the token. That's going to have to be figured out for who would be successful in a 1 versus 1 tournament. It's just 2 sides. And in some ways, Bird is an amazing offensive player, but I worry about his foot speed against a faster player. Was not a very fast player. Bird was very methodical and plotting. And in some ways, his foot speed wasn't that good, though. That's the thing. Shaq Lindsay saying, where is the RJ clip? It just came out, and let me see. Who posted it? It looks like, hang on. You guys posted some stuff in here yesterday. There it is. The NBA posted it. And Monique posted it in our chat. So it's on NBA.com. It's actually on the NBA.com. So, yeah. He's talking about being in year 7, going into his career. Yeah. James is saying, Lex, is Ingram or our best ISO player, or is it RJ? I don't know. I mean, I can't just decide this until we see Brandon healthy for sure on the court and what he's actually at with his career. Because in some ways he's missed so much time the last couple of years. We can't say for sure exactly what he is or who he is and what he's doing. We got to just see. He could be a lot better than he was in New Orleans all of a sudden, just because he's got more muscle and he's more, like I said, organized and directed by the Raptors organization to have his what he's supposed to be doing. So we'll have to see. I'm trying to kind of leaning towards Brandon is the better one. But RJ's better than him right now because we haven't seen Brandon yet. But Brandon could come in the first few games and be like, yeah, he's the one. He's the one. He's the one. That's right. NBA Instagram, Shaq. That's where it is. That's right. That's where Mo found it. Kaz saying Ingram and it's not close. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's right. Because RJ's really good at getting around guys these days. Like, it's crazy. Like, he's not totally fast. It's like a combination of speed and strength with RJ. Now with Brandon, it's going to be length and speed, but not the strength necessary. It's length and speed. But with RJ, it's a strength and speed. And I don't know, man. I won't say it's not close. I think it's closer than you think, Cass. I agree with your point, Lex, about players not wanting to play in the 1-versus-1 tournament after this year. Yeah, it'll be interesting the first time, and some of them may actually get in it this year to be the very first 1-versus-1 champion, to have that allure. But after they see how it all goes down, it may not have legs to go forward. That's the crazy thing. I mean, it's like the All-Star weekend has just become like, let's roll the wheel and we'll just see what the event's going to be for what the settings are. It may be more interesting if you did that, Adam Silver. You just made a wheel of different kind of All-Star events and say, yeah, we didn't make this up. The wheel told us what to do. And this year we're doing East versus West, like the old school format. Yay. And everybody goes, yay. You're going to do the All-Star game like you did in the 80s finally again. All right. Woo. No schoolyard pick, no world versus, no 4 teams. You're just going to do the vintage, straight up All-Star format. Wow. We love it. We love it. Cool Cat saying Steph got speed and some serious handles and energetic bunny. His defense would be his Achilles heel. Yeah, that. And I'm serious. I really do believe, like I said earlier, that Steph derives a lot of his offense off his teammates. A lot of his offense off his teammates in different ways that we don't totally understand. So, and a lot of his screening and different things like that. And part of it was Klay Thompson. Fiercely saying, Shaq Lindsay, RJ's clip is on NBA YouTube channel. That's right. That's right. That's right. Wayne saying, morning, Raptor Freaks. Good morning to you, Sergeant at Arms, Wayne's trainer. How are you today? Thanks, Mo. Timeline getting shorter for our Raptors indulgence. There you go. That's right. We're getting closer to get to that Raptors action. And I ain't watching no highlights. Adam Silver, you punk ass. That's right. Kaz is saying dunk for Seymour. We can do a dunk for Seymour. That's right. Seymour Pape, another dunk, 192. Why not? We'll do that. Seymour's been exemplary as a Raptor freak recently. That's right. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, do I just do a search on RJ or I'm thirsty for Raptors? No, I think if you just go there, you might see it. Just go to an NBA.com and there's an RJ clip there. I can't believe it. It's there. Fiercely saying at Raptors superfan Mo, Raptors admin wants to dilute the backlash of the Bills related clips and put it back on the topic of basketball. I click like on that clip to prove a point. That's what I'm saying. You know, I think that they have this idea that, like I said the other day, they can use the Raptors fan nation to try and find new ways to make money. And they see that we're a big, huge entity. It's a very popular team. And the Raptors have a lot of audience and a lot of like attention. People love the Raptors. They like Shaq Lindsay's looking for this right now. And in some ways, you know, the Bills may not be that enthusiastic in some ways. And they want to pick up some of that enthusiasm from the Raptors platform. So they invaded the Raptors platform with Bills stuff this week. And it really is because they're trying to give a leg up. It could very well be that Keith Pelly sold this to Bills. It's like, look, listen, we got the whole country of Canada, and we just are doing so good. The Raptors are worth billions of dollars. We could help you, Bills. We could help you get more international with Canada and the world because we're that. Oh, I like the idea of this, Keith Pelly. What can you do? And like, we're going to do this and this. And that may be the idea of this. And basically, the Bills gave them money to do this. It's kind of like, hey, can I use your TV channel to advertise my product on it? Okay, how much you going to pay me? Okay, yeah, come on in. Hello, Raptors fans. We're going to advertise the Bills because they just paid Ed Rogers a whole bunch of money to. That's kind of what it is right there. The other thing that's really weird about it is it's very anti-basketball what they did too. It's anti-CFL and it's anti-Argos and it's anti-basketball because in some ways what they're seeing is the growth of basketball in Canada is exploding. We have a lot of young women and men that are playing basketball right now coming up. And they see that too. The NFL sees that and they want growth for young people playing football here also. And that's part of the initiative is that they want to start a bunch of Bills youth camps in Ontario to encourage kids to play that sport. And in some ways, it's like they're using basketball's platform to enhance football and the NFL. And we can see right through it. We're not stupid. The people that are Bills fans are Bills fans already. If you guys think you're going to collect a bunch of new Bills fans by putting the Bills on the Raptors channel, you're going to be sadly mistaken. Because a lot of us are not football fans and not huge NFL fans. A lot of us are not like interested. And, the clicks will show this. And that's what I tell the Raptors fans. If you don't want to encourage them to continue to do this, don't click on this shit. Let it go and let them see just how much of the difference a clip about the Raptors, like a 23-minute clip of the Eastern Conference semifinals against Miami Heat from 2016, gets thousands of clicks. And meanwhile, the GM of the Buffalo Bills talking at a press conference the other day at BMO Field gets hundreds of clicks. So this is the way we tell them. This is the feedback. This is the customer card. So yeah, and some ways we got to do this because they're going to come with more of this shit and expect to see really ugly gear that's coming out. That's going to be like a mashup of Buffalo Bills with Toronto Raptors, which is going to be totally, why are you doing this? It's almost like making Raptors gear that stars and stripes, like we're American. Why are you doing this? This is stupid. It's like, we don't need this gear. We never needed a Raptors shirt in red, white, and blue. That was never something that should have happened. And that did happen. It happened a few times in certain ways. So yeah, it's like, read the room and understand, just because you guys have a business model and you have ideas of consolidating sports and being the Thanos of sports, Ed Rogers III, with your little ring and all your jewels, doesn't mean that shit is going to go smoothly and you can just tell the masses what they're supposed to watch. That's just what I say to that, So I say to that. Cass saying, Trevor J, Commissioner of Fun. Thank you. Yeah, he's been really huge support for his channel. Really, really huge support. We love you, Trevor. James is saying, trip down memory lane with throwback Raptor clips. That's right. I love that stuff, man. I love that stuff. I want them to come out with the one where Alvin Williams won the game for us in the playoffs, and the first playoff victory we ever had, like the first playoff series we won against New York. Can you guys do that last game where Alvin hit the clutch shot and helped us win our first ever playoff series? And then people will understand why Alvin Williams is one of the greatest Raptors of all time, and that he totally deserves to be on our broadcast, and why people should be listening to A-Dub, second to none. Because seriously, this guy is not just our commentator. This guy is a part of Raptors history success. And I think that telling the tale of it by putting that game out in particular would be good. I don't know. They didn't put that game out already this summer, did they? Because I'd love to see the Raptors in 2000 or was it 2001? 2001, the round before they got to Iverson, when Alvin and Vince and them and Chris Childs beat the New York Knicks to get the first ever playoff series victory for the Toronto Raptors franchise. That's an important part of our history right there. That's right. That's an important part of it right there. That's right. Let's see. James is saying Mavs might get another top pick. They're going to be horrible this year with all the injuries. Next year's draft is loaded. That may even be by design. Reload it times two. The AD Kyrie part of their team is not going to be around forever. And maybe they want to start rebuilding on the down low, even with those old vets around. Slum a bit this year because of injuries to Irvin and probably Davis. And then, start building with a new teammate with Cooper Flagg that they get from the draft next year. Something like that. I mean, it's so fishy. I hate that they got the first pick. I hate that this whole thing went down. I don't think that people that are cheating and con artists should be rewarded like Donald Trump and Nico Harrison. And that's why Steve Ballmer needs to get punished too. That's right. That's right. Nako's saying Durant versus social media. How do you do that? How do you do that? What do you put out there who's going to dribble for social media? Who's going to shoot the ball? I want to know, Nako. I want to know. Fiercely saying, yes, said James, the type of content we Raptors fans need to see, not the other crowd. Yeah, I mean, it's y'all's choice. If you like the Bills and you like the cross promotion and you want to get into it, that's your right. But if you think it's annoying and you're kind of like, what the fuck is this? And you're watering down the Raptors brand, then you can make your voice known too the other way, like I have. I really do look at this as like, look, the Raptors brand was built up by 12 years by Masai Ujiri. He made it a unique brand that's very identifiable and very attractive. And I think that I don't know how long it'll take Keith Belly and Ed Rogers to dismantle all of that with the brand of the Raptors. I would tell you right now, if we had a stock tracker where we could track the stock of the Raptors' value as a franchise, and we would probably see it decimating itself right now. It probably went down since Masai got fired. Like it was probably like the Raptors' valuation is at $3 billion, and maybe now it's like 2.7 billion or something like that. That kind of shit could be happening. Ed Rogers is probably losing money right now because of his crazy ass schemes in firing Masai Ujiri. That's the thing. He didn't realize Masai was part of the success. Masai is part of the reason why the Raptors brand is so valuable, you idiot. And in some ways, if you're going to undo a lot of the work in building the brand and what it means and what it stands up for, you're going to lose money, Ed Rogers. And you will be just like your friend Trump, a failed businessman who actually just grew up with a silver spoon, wasn't a very good businessman his whole life, was given everything to him, failed over and over again, and just happened to like find a monopoly job in Rogers Cable that absolutely you didn't set up. Your father did. And, he was totally different as a boss. He was benevolent and he looked out for his workers. You're absolutely the opposite. You're a horrible businessman, Ed Rogers. You may be making money like crazy, but don't get it twisted. You could be doing so much better if you understood business and you understood things better. But no, you're a person who was born into it. You never had to work hard in your life. And you're somebody who honestly is not somebody to be respected. Seriously. What the fuck did you do? Ted Rogers II built the Rogers Company. He took it from your grandfather who started it, and he made it explode into what it is. And you're just a parasite who got it handed to you like a keys to a car. And in some ways, you're going to show us exactly that whole model with Donald Trump losing money on a casino business. You're going to lose money on something called the Raptors, which is easy money because you're ruining the brand with watering it down. You're going to throw Blue Jays and Leafs in our face? Are you going to advertise like crazy for the other sports and you won't put the Raptors on blast on any of the other ones? Is this some way way you're going to try and push down the sport of basketball in general around the world in favor of your beloved Blue Jays or football like you did this week or the hockey team even? Obviously, probably. That's what I'm saying, man. That's why we got to watch out as Raptors Nation. Is that we deserve our respect because Masai carved it out and he made it and he made this brand. But if they're going to destroy this brand by watering it down and tearing us in below the NHL, the MLB, the NFL, see, that's the thing that I don't like. Is that I'm a Raptors fan first. I don't give a shit about the Leafs. I don't give a shit about the Blue Jays to an extent. I do love the Blue Jays and I do want them to, but the Raptors are number one. And then I totally don't give a shit about the NFL and the Buffalo Bills. So it's like, look, you're going to take a fantastic, robust, healthy brand and you're going to water it down, Ed Rogers, and you're going to devalue it over time. I can already see how you're going to do this. And we're going to see all these cross promotions as the season goes on this year, guys. And just know we can have this action to reject it. Just so you know, we have that power. We do have that power. That's right. That's right. Kaz is saying, I want to see Scotty versus Cade in one versus one so he can shut the Pistons fans up real quick. That's part of it. That's part of it. Scotty versus Cade or Scotty versus Evan or Scotty versus Paulo. These are the comparisons. These would be great opportunities. I know Scotty versus Cade would probably be the best one because they're best friends and they would probably do it for fun and they wouldn't be upset if either one of them lost each other. So if that's a match made for the WrestleMania, the 1 versus 1 for the All-Star weekend, I would do that one. Scotty, I would do it. And I know Kay probably say, yeah, I'd love to play you, Scott, and be fun. And, to the best man win. And it'd be like a real competition. If it's Paulo, it may be a little bit more angsty and a little bit more not nice. If it's Evan, he's friends with Evan, though, too. So it probably could be similar Evan Mobley versus Scotty Barnes. Scotty has a lot of respect for Evan Mobley, and Evan Mobley, in a lot of ways, has respect for Scott. It's just the fans in Cleveland that don't respect Scotty. And I don't totally respect Evan Mobley. So that's just how it is. That's right. Cream saying best dunks performed by mascots would be interesting. They did this before. They did a mascot dunk contest in the past, and the gorilla one But yeah, they did different ones. I don't think the Raptor was involved, or he would have done well. But they've done this before. They've done this segment before where they had the mascot dunk contest. Sometimes they don't even do it at the All-Star weekend. They'll do a mascot dunk contest at a regular season game at halftime, stuff like that. Kaloy saying, "Morning, Lex and Rat Freak family. I have soured on the All-Star." Okay, you soured on it. I have soured on the All-Star event so much to care about this new one-on-one versus event. Yeah, in some ways, that's part of the problem. There's so much damage to that event, and it really is the NBA itself that did the damage. That in some ways people are tired of it, and they're like, you know what, we don't even care. We're not even going to show up. We'll have to see. Me, I always watch the All-Star weekend contingent on whether Raptors are involved. If the Raptors aren't involved, then I say, fuck you. You didn't put a Raptor on the All-Star team, then I'm not fucking watching. You put Grady on the Rising Stars team. All right, I'll watch the Rising Stars game. It's shit like that. Oh, Norman's going to be in the 3-point shootout. All right, I'll watch Norman because I like Norman, even though he's not on the Raptors still. Things like that. Let's see. Kareem saying this. Oh, wait, no. First, Nako's saying, Kareem saying this. If players, all-stars, stop doing dunk-offs, they definitely ain't doing 1 versus 1. Yeah, I mean, it's a similar kind of thing where they can lose face. I agree. Nako's saying, I don't think anyone in the league can beat Giannis one-on-one. He may be one of the best ones. You're right. I could say this because he's an all-around guy on both ends, and he is a very good defensive player. He's a very good defensive player. And he, in some ways, he may be limited shooting outside and kind of getting his own shot. But if he can power somebody down low and do stuff near the basket with his long arms, he may be okay on offense. I think Giannis would be one of the better players defensively in the 1 versus 1 tournament. And his offense may be his weak side of things. That's the interesting thing right there. Kareem saying, why don't we just have a creative layup line? Fred VanVleet, Steph, Lowry, Baines would be fun. Basketball isn't only above the rim. I mean, Kareem's just trolling now. I don't know, Kareem. Should I give you a dunk for that? That's hilarious. You just want to do a layup line? He named a bunch of guys that don't dunk all the time. That's hilarious. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know about that. Kaz is saying, never change, Lex. Your impressions are spot on. I do it pretty good, Nardwar. I really do. I mean, I have a little bit of a mimic in me. Some people say that it's like it's disrespectful. I think it's flattery. I love these people that I do impressions of to the point where I'm trying to do them the way I can. I mean, I just did Tim Duncan earlier. I did Bret Hart earlier. I did Roddy Piper earlier. And you knew I was doing them. And I do Ed Rogers. I do Keith Belly. I do a lot of people. You guys tell me to do an impression right now. Cass, ask me to do a weird impression. It doesn't even have to be anybody NBA related. You could just ask me to do an impression. Like, try not to do a political one, maybe. But yeah, ask me to do an impression. I would love to have the challenge. And I want to show y'all that I can do this without any preparation. I really do. Yeah. Thank you, Cass, for the compliment. I appreciate it. Kareem saying, are the Bills trying to introduce themselves again to the Toronto market because they are tearing down Orchard Park this year? They may need a home to play for a year or two. I'm trying to Windhurst this shit. Yeah, that may be true. I mean, like Jill brought up on our Discord server, Jillian, thank you, Jillian Moody, that they tried to come in and they failed. They came into the Ontario market. They had games at Skydome, and the people in Buffalo were pissed, and the people in the CFL were pissed, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out very well. I think this is a similar thing. I think that, once again, the biggest factor in this is read the room, Bills and MLSE, you idiots. It's elbows up time. And none of us are trying to support the United States. None of us are trying to support the NFL over the CFL, because the CFL is Canadian, and God damn it, I'm Canadian too. And in some ways, I'm going to support our country first right now when there's bullshit going on with what America bowed up towards Canada about. So, like, this, read the room. You guys are idiots. You think that this is the time to jump on trying to cross-promote an American football league in Canada against a Canadian football league when we're elbows up right now? You guys are idiots. Part of it is none of us are going to go across the border to go to Bills games this year because we're not trying to go to the U.S. at all. We're not even trying to buy their shit. So it's like, read the room. You guys are idiots for trying to initiate this now. Maybe you had the plans before Project 2025 started going into effect this year, But at this point, who the fuck is trying to support the United States, the Bills, or the NFL up in Canada right now? Like, ask yourself that question. Keith Pelly, you're a dumbass. Seriously. You didn't think this through very well, did you? You didn't. You didn't think this through very well. If they're going to play Bills games in the Sky Dome because their arena's gone right now, so be it. I'm sure Argos fans hate this. I'm sure that the CFL diehards and loyalists hate this. And I give all my power and support towards them in this situation. I think that the CFL is an important league, and I would like it to stay healthy and strong. And the movements of the NFL trying to come into the Ontario market, fuck you, Bills. That's what I say. 2-finger salute, just like Kaz, to Ed Rogers, Keith Pelly, and the Buffalo Bills. That's right. I'm with Kaz on this one. Make it a 4-finger salute. That's right. It's a 4-finger salute. You get double your money. That's right. Mo's bringing this up. So Lex Arslan Jamil, the assistant coach of the 905, took Raptors 905 out his IG bio. So I'm guessing he's moving on. He's coaching Brody Burlington right now. So we'll see once 905 season starts. Oh, so he took it off his profile that he's a 905 assistant coach. That sucks. Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe there's a little bit of shuffling around with the coaching staff for Darko and by proxy, the 905 with Andrew Jones. So we'll just have to see how those different ones is different. So we'll just have to see. But I appreciate the news, Mo. Fiercely saying Lex's imitation of Keith Pelly is gold. Yeah, I just want to, he was so goofy about like being joyous about ruining our long weekend with firing Masai. And that's always going to stick out to me, that you're an evil son of a bitch because you fired a man that was innocent and doing a good job at his job. And in some ways, the only reason why is because Ed Rogers is a racist and a piece of shit is part of the reason why. That's probably one of the main reasons why. It's not money. It's not that Masai did a bad job. It's none of that kind of shit. It's basically Ed Rogers is a racist piece of shit. And in some ways, he never liked Masai because Masai had more charisma. He's more successful. He's everything that Ed Rogers isn't. And I told somebody this comparison the other day at my family gathering that I look at it this way. Masai Ujiri is to Ed Rogers as Barack Obama is to Donald Trump. And you can see all the relationship dynamics of what I'm talking about in that. If you want to see it, look at how Trump feels about Obama and what he would say about him. And he's like insecure about him. Seriously. Because in some ways, Obama is everything that Trump isn't. Liked, popular, handsome, talented, good at his job, all this kind of stuff. And it's the same shit in the relationship with Rogers and Ujiri. Because once again, we have to remind ourselves, Ed Rogers III never worked hard in his life to get what he got. He was born into that empire from his dad. His dad built that empire and made the hard work. And Ed Rogers is just the parasite at the top of the heap right now. And in some ways, he shouldn't be. His sister should be in charge. So there's all kinds of ways to look at this and understand exactly why things are like this, man. Exactly why things are like this. Yeah. Kareem saying they should choose the best 2 players from every team to be an all-star. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I do like the idea that Steve Kerr has been putting forth for a couple of years, and other people agree with him, is extending the all-star rosters because, we've had 12 players on each team for a long time, but there's been expansion, and there's way more teams in the NBA at this point. So having 15-man roster for the all-star game is actually kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. We've expanded rosters on regular teams. We have more 2-way slots. Why wouldn't we have more roster spots on the All-Star? And especially with the injuries, if in some ways you may only have 12 or 13 guys playing because 2 of them are injured and they're out, and you don't have to do injury replacements. There's none of this embarrassing shit where it's like, oh, Kevin's hurt. He's not going to play. LeBron's deciding to be lazy. He's not going to play today after all. So you know what? We still have the other 13 guys. So Kevin and LeBron aren't playing, but we got the other 13 guys to fill the team. And then there's none of this Trae Young, I'm replacing somebody else kind of slight. You just come out with the full 15 roster. Whoever's healthy plays, whoever isn't doesn't play. And there, boom, you got it good right there. And that it allows for more opportunity for people to be in the All-Star game, because you got 30 teams, you got 30 roster spots. And if your All-Star isn't in there, maybe the team's too shitty in the league, like Washington, to get an All-Star. One of the top teams in the East gets their All-Star spot. That kind of thing. That's the way I would fix it right there. That's the way I would fix it. Kaloy's saying, Lex, I always loved your Darko impression. Darko's awesome. And I really don't want to be insulting about this. I mean, I know he's a man from Serbia. He's European and he has an accent. It's all done with love. And when I do try to do these people, I try to do it in a way that's endearing to the people I like. And maybe a little bit of a characterization in a wrong way if there's somebody I don't like Keith Pelly. So like Darko's always done with love. Let me see. What would be a good Darko thing to do right now? Let's see. This is Darko in the morning, I guess. Oh, good morning, Gaga. I see you have the pot of coffee out already. Always good. You are my love. I love you so much for having the coffee ready for Coach. Oh my gosh, where would I be without you and my son? I love you so much. That's probably what he does every morning. He wakes up and he shows gratitude and gratefulness and love towards his beautiful wife, Gaga. I bet you that is exactly what Darko does every single day, first thing in the morning. That's the first thing he does right there. Something like that, man. I'm telling you right there. That's right. Fiercely saying, make it an 8-finger salute because she's in on that. Well, you have 4 hands. We got 2 other people coming in, 4-finger salute, 8-finger salute. It was Cass, Fiercey, and myself. Who wants to be the other hands right there? That's right. All right. Cass wants me to do Randy Savage or The Rock real quick. All right. I could do this. We'll do, instead of Hulk versus The Rock at WrestleMania at Skydome, we'll do Randy versus The Rock. Real quick. We'll do Randy versus The Rock real quick. We'll start here. All right. I can get the mic because it's not hooked up. And let me just use it real quick. Finally, The Rock has come back to Toronto. And what jabroni here is ready to fight The Rock here tonight at the Skydome here in Toronto? Dun, 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 na, 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 na. Oh, yeah! Dun, na, 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 na. Oh, I see it's you, jabroni. Randy, what are you doing here? Oh, yeah, Rock. I've been listening to you all day, and I seen how you're looking at Elizabeth, and I'm coming to get you. Oh, yeah. You just bring it, jabroni. So stupid. There you go. Some improvisation by Lex, a graduate of the Second City. Randy makes you have to have a water break. Let's just put it that way. Oh, yeah. It's real easy to do Randy. If you guys want to do Randy Savage, just act constipated. That's the easiest way to do Randy Savage right there. That's right. My Doc Rivers is goated as well. Yeah. Steve, are you sure? I'm telling you, Doc, they can't paper trail this back to you. Are you sure I'm not going to get in trouble for Kawhi? I told you, there's nothing to get you in trouble. You don't work for us anymore. You're in Milwaukee. Oh, okay, good. That's funny. Let's see. Randolph said, blessings below Raptor Freaks family. Everyone needs to at least one person who sees and believes in them and roots for them, no matter what. Keep pressing forward. There you go. Listen, guys. Not everybody's going to have a YouTube channel, and I appreciate y'all's encouragement, but some people out there in life are doing good things and badass things on a small scale, and you may realize it and see it, recognize them. That's what we're saying right here. Randolph is saying, give recognition. Say, I see you. I see you for what you do. You're picking up trash in the neighborhood, and you're helping us out. I see you for what you're doing to help out that old lady in her life because she can't cut her lawn. You go and tell those heroes that are out there, those everyday heroes in small ways, and encourage them and give them recognition. That's what Randolph is saying right here. Because if you encourage the good in this world, the good will get bigger And if we encourage the bad, well, it's the opposite. We don't want that. So that's what I'm saying. Be a force of good. Be out there and encourage people that are doing the right thing right now and tell them that you see them, that you recognize them, and that you appreciate it. That's right. Blessings to Phyllis family, all the Rapper Freak families on this TGIF. That's right. Let's go. Keep pressing forward. That's right. Kareem saying, Lex, can you do Macho Man Randy Savage when he found out Hulk slept with Elizabeth? I mean, that was kind of on TV, right? I mean, Hulk never slept with Elizabeth. The whole storyline was that he had lustful eyes. He had lustful eyes. And then there was the whole thing where they had the tag team match and Elizabeth got hurt and she got taken away. Like Zeus, I think it was Zeus. Zeus, Tiny Lister, hit Elizabeth or something. And she got carted off on a stretcher to the back. And the Macho Man and Hulk were fighting Zeus and the $1 Million Man. And I think that Hulk got worried about Elizabeth, so he left the ring. And Macho was by himself in the ring and still fighting both the other guys by himself. And Hogan was in the back with Elizabeth at the stretcher, like carrying to her. And Randy came running back there and like, why'd you leave? What are you doing? And like attacked Hogan in the back in front of Elizabeth on the stretcher. That was the whole Mega Powers Explode storyline, right? But yeah, I always thought it was shady when Hogan would put Elizabeth on his shoulder in that short little mini skirt, like her butt's on his shoulder. And he's like touching her ass when he's putting her up there. I think that is as sexual as they got. And I think that Randy didn't like that either. Let's just put it that way. This shit about Randy being jealous was true. Like that was playing off of a real thing. When they'd come to wrestling matches, she did not have the opportunity to talk to other people because Randy forbid it. And often he would do this shit. He'd lock her in a dressing room or even a janitor's closet just to not have her able to interact with people when he's busy doing interviews or off in the ring and she's not there. So he was very controlling and very overprotective. Yeah, that was all based off of real shit, you know? So I don't know. I've already done a Randy Savage here, but I've talked about the whole thing about where they split. I think that's funny. Really, if I was Macho, I'd be mad because Hogan's like grabbing her ass and putting her up on his shoulder and walking around with her on his shoulder and stuff like that. That was pretty shady stuff right there, especially with that mini skirt. And you know that what she did, she had that full skirt and then she rips it off as a distraction to the other side because she's got like a mini skirt on underneath or something. It's very interesting time, the Mega Powers, and they're exploding. That's right. Trevor's saying Raptors coaching open house September 17th. Register now live September 25th, 11 a.m. They've announced the coaches open house for 905, but I did not hear that they did the open house for Raptors yet. So that's interesting. That's really early. That doesn't seem right. I don't think it's coach's open house. I think it's like an open practice maybe or something. I don't know. That's weird. I haven't seen that. You know, there's tryouts for the 905 right now still too. If you guys are interested in trying out for the G League Raptors team, you can. You just got to pay like $200 and you can go there this month and try out for it. You know, let's do the Instagram stories since you guys are bringing up stuff like this. First, we got Jacoby out on the basketball court with some youth. He's wearing a Satoshi shirt and the kids are, they're very happy to be with an NBA player. Jacoby Walter is very, very cool. I'm not even sure where they are. They could be anywhere. I can't tell. Teresa Resch went to the U.S. Open. She was very grateful to get to go and invited to be attending the U.S. Open women's final. And she was there with a lot of people. So there you go. Checking out the women's Open final at U.S. Open. Very cool. Jamal Shed is putting on blast the football team that he cheers for, and that's the Denver Broncos. Just like Kareem Thomas, he is a Denver Broncos fan because Jade. That's right. It's it right there. And also, he's got an old school pick with his Houston Cougars teammates from his Houston days. And he's thinking back to the throwback Thursday with his family is what he's saying. Slim Duck is wearing his, it's sad. I think Slim Duck had a family member die recently. I think it was a grandpa or uncle. And it says, I know you watching upon us now. That's sad. And he's honoring him here. He's got the Steve Winwood "Bring Me a Higher Love" song playing on there. That's a beautiful thing, man. All the condolences and sympathies to Chris Boucher on the passing of his elder family member. Seriously, all the passion in that. Yeah, he's got on blast the Aces. Superhuman is what he's saying about Aja. Yeah, and Jewel Lloyd, I'll bet. There's Chris Boucher wearing a white and green Boston Celtics shirt. He's officially there working out for the Celtics now, guys. Oh my gosh, it looks so weird. Looks so weird seeing that. Let's see. Also, Chris has a rule. If you're talking to Chris Boucher and he says that's crazy twice, you need to stop your story. you know how I do this too. Is like I said, that's crazy. Yeah, okay, that's crazy. You know, if you hear that twice, apparently to Chris, that's the unwritten rule to wrap your story up because maybe it's too long-winded and you're going on and on too long. Emmanuel Quickly has got 100 victories on the NBA 2K26. And his guy is funny, man. He's got some cool Raptors jerseys. I don't know why they're wearing green underneath. That's a weird character. His character looks like Kyrie or one of the Morris brothers. I don't know what's going on there, Emmanuel. Well, he's got 100 points. That's what it is. He got 100 points in a game? No way. That's what it is. He scored 100. He did a wilt in a 2K game. That's crazy. Those games aren't long enough to get 100 points. How the hell did you score 100 points in a game? He shot 69%, it says right here. He shot 69%, got 12 assists and 100 points in a 2K game. Wow, Emmanuel. Wow. I thought you got 100 wins as a team. No, he scored 100 points in one game. That's crazy. Holy crap. DeMar DeRozan, he's got some shirt on. It's a Honey's Kettles. Oh, he's putting on blast that restaurant again that he was at earlier this summer that serves the chicken in Compton that he's gone to forever since he was a kid. Honey's Kettle Fried Chicken. And he's got a really nice airbrushed shirt. And is this commemorating him and his dad going to get the chicken and him talking about it in this story? That's pretty crazy. It's a green Volvo in the picture. And I'm wondering if they did that for him. That's a really cool shirt. So really cool to see DeMar's life, man. Jonathan Mobo is putting on blast a guy who's a preacher, and he's talking about what does readiness look like. The Lord is telling all believers that I want you to live with a consciousness of readiness. How do you live ready? As a believer, look at me, please. Yeah, okay. How do you live ready? In some ways, it's like, yeah, we got to be ready. There's a lot of crazy shit going on. We got to be ready. I get it. Serge Ibaka, where in the world are you? He's looking cool with his glasses and his red sweater and his hat. I don't know. Who's he with? He's with Spicer PR. And yeah, I don't know where he is. He might be in New York. I'm not totally sure. That's the last place I could tell where he was. Scotty Barnes is saying happy birthday to one of his buddies. And he's thrown a throwback picture about his friend who had a 99 perimeter and a 94 steals. I think I did this story yesterday. I'm not totally sure. Let's see. Eric Smith is promoting CanadaHelps.org. So he wants you guys to be donating to get an Emmanuel Quickly autographed jersey if you get involved in this. So get involved with Eric Smith on Instagram and click on the CanadaHelps.org. Donate now, and you'll be entered in the raffle to get a signed Emmanuel Quickly Raptors jersey. So that's what's up with that. Definitely get involved in that. You can win that shirt. And he's got a cute puppy promoted it too. And there's Sandra Mamu's dog. He's got a happy birthday to his eldest pup, his dog there. So happy birthday to Sandro's dog. That's right. And Siakam, he's out on the golf course hitting the little ball around. Of course, he's not totally a experienced golfer. He's still learning. But it looks like his swing's getting a little bit better. It's a little more smoother. Savannah Hamilton, somewhere nice and islandy and blue skies and blue water. And there's your Instagram check-in with everything there. Yeah. Yeah, Instagram is all about 2K right now. These guys are playing that 2K right now. And Emmanuel got 100. That's amazing, Emmanuel Quickly. You got 100 points? That is amazing. I can't believe that, man. That's so crazy. So crazy. Monique's saying NBA dunk champion T. Ross. Okay, let's see. What is it? T. Ross, the dunk contest is done, and players don't even want to go 1-versus-1 at All-Star. That's what Ross said. Man, it's like to get the All-Star weekend to work again, in some ways they need LeBron's generation to retire because they screwed it up. In some ways, SGA, as the new leader and the new face of the NBA, he needs to take the mantle and do it right like Michael, Larry, and Magic would. In some ways, he has to take that responsibility for the quality. In some ways, his generation has to listen to Larry Bird and what he told those All-Stars backstage before the game, which LeBron's generation didn't listen to. Seriously, they did not listen. They brought Larry Bird to the All-Star weekend a couple years ago, and he reamed out the All-Stars about how shitty the All-Star game is and how they're destroying the legacy that he built with other NBA players and how they're lazy and the All-Star game don't look good. And in some ways, they understood there was an exhibition, but they did a certain amount of work in the All-Star game because they knew it was a marketing thing and it was important for the product of the NBA. This LeBron generation don't get this. They don't get this at all. And Larry tried to get it through to them. And he read the riot act on them. They literally did send Larry Bird into the All-Star game locker room a couple years ago, and he reamed them out for not taking this seriously in the right way, in the ways that they should. So, if it's lost on the generation of LeBron and Kevin Durant and them doing the All-Star weekend right, maybe SGA can be that leader and get the next generation back on track in the way Larry Bird would be smiling. Because that is one of the biggest problems right there. That is one of the biggest problems right there. That's right. Dunk for Lex. You want me to get a dunk? All right, I'll take a dunk. I only take dunks if you guys give them to me. I'm not going to give myself a dunk. So let's see. Where's Lex on the dunk charts now? I'm at 83. 83. Not a bad year. 83 was a good year. Good year for TV and movies and music. That's right. Chloe saying, can you do Bomber next? Yeah, I've done Bomber before. I've done Bomber before. That's probably Bomber right there. That's right. Let's see. Most saying I'll post the link from T Ross. He's on Twitch, so he's saying all this stuff with no filter. And I don't disagree with him. I mean, there's so much more to lose than to gain from the stunt competition at this point. That's right. Preseason tickets officially on sale now. Just announced. There you go. Get your tickets for the game here in Toronto against, I think we're playing the Bulls here or the Celtics here. One of the two. Yeah, I think there's 2 home games here in Toronto for the preseason, this preseason. I'm not totally sure. Of course, the Denver game is out in Vancouver, so hopefully you guys can get those tickets. That's right. Randolph saying, Lex, another young man, 22 years old, is arrested for allegedly shooting and killing Charlie Kirk. All the hate bottled up in our young. More needs to be done to help the young. Yeah, I don't know if that's true. They arrested somebody yesterday, but it was the wrong person. They came and got the guy they thought it was, but they had to release him later because it was not the right person. I don't know if they've actually caught this guy yet. Maybe this is breaking news since I've been on the air, and that's what you're saying. But they didn't catch anybody for this as far as I know. There's footage of the guy climbing off the roof. There's footage of him running away. In some ways, it's like, there's a lot of questions I have about this whole situation. And look, I understand your thing is saying there's a lot of hate bottled up in our youth. This is not what this is. This is not what this is. In some ways, I'll tell you this right now. This was somebody taking out somebody full of hate. It's not the shooter that was hateful. In some ways, yeah, murder is wrong. Murder isn't wrong, but vigilante justice is what this is. Charlie Kirk was a beacon of hate. He promoted people to hate other people. He promoted young white men to hate black people. He said that Martin Luther King, he was glad he got assassinated and that he deserved to die. He said a lot of very heinous things. He's written a lot of checks with his mouth, and he's been a huge leader to the youth and inspiring youth to be hateful. So literally, Randolph, what you're saying, actually the shooter killing Charlie Kirk actually helped the youth to be less hateful. Does that sound crazy? But no, it's true, because Charlie Kirk goes from college campus to college campus, indoctrinating young people into hating other people. That's what his job was. So literally, somebody shot a mouthpiece for hate a couple days ago. That's the truth of it right there. Charlie Kirk was not a good person. There's a lot of people that have kids and a wife that are horrible people. It's not a moniker for being a good person. Oh, you have a wife and kids? You must be a great person. No, there's a lot of pieces of shit that have kids and have a wife. It's not just because you're a family man, you're a good person. No, he's a piece of shit. And I know some people say that's disrespectful to say to the dead. No, it's true. It's just the damn truth. And in some ways, once again, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. He asked for what he got because that's the world he wanted to live in. That's the world he wanted to live in. So yeah, actually, the hate was stopped by the assassination of Charlie Kirk because he's literally going to go to that campus in Utah State and try and get more recruits to join the MAGA in the hate that he spouse and spews out of his mouth. So, I hope that says it right there. You posted in the chat. Let me go see. Let me go see what you posted there. Let's see what he posted. The official bracket for the WNBA is presented. There's the matchups. We should look at this. I should probably cover this. So it's going to be the Lynx versus the Valkyries in the first round. The Lynx should take that one. Mercury versus Liberty, Aces versus Storm, and Atlanta versus Indiana. Those are the 8 teams in the playoffs, and they start on the 14th. So they start in 2 days. That's awesome. That's exciting. I'm excited for WNBA playoffs. I'm kind of rooting for the Storm. I'm kind of rooting for the Mercury. I'm rooting for the Lynx, and I'm rooting for the Fever. I think those are the 4 teams I'm rooting for in the different matchups. There's the WNBA trophy. Wow, that's pretty nice. Oh, there's the Coaches Open House. Okay, so they are doing the Coaches Open House earlier before the season even starts this year. Interesting. That's very interesting. Normally they do it at some point during the season, but I guess they just want to get it out of the way. So Coaches Open House will be September 17th at 11 a.m. What is the date? That's like this week coming up, guys. Holy crap. That's going to be like next Wednesday. They're going to do the Coaches Open House. Man, is it too soon or early to try and get on this and get it done? I don't know. Do I want to go to this? I don't know. I may be very busy. Actually, those days are going to be busy for me because I have a lot going on. Well, hopefully some of you guys will go to the Coaches Open House on September the 17th. That really seems like that's too soon. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Trevor, for clarifying and giving me the information. Kareem saying, Lex, moving forward, whenever you do a Savage impression, you need to do the iconic 360 spin. I never made these rules. I know that I'd like to do that spin, the turnaround, and I am in a chair that will spin, but it's not a lot of room between me and the thing behind me, and I'll probably bust into this and mess up my shot and all kinds of things. I would do it, man. I would do it. Maybe if I have this moved out a little more, then I can go. No, it's too awkward. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. See, I'm bumping everything. If I had the mic out, it would have been going boom, boom, boom. It doesn't work. I would like to do that for you, but I think that request is not good for production. Let's just put it that way. That's right. I like that little spin, though, he did. In a wrestling game I have, Legends of Wrestling 2, he does that spin as your mock. He does a little spin around like that when he does his mocking move. Let's see. Blackhawks here. Good to see Neil. The only thing I can do on the 905 team is be the water boy. I mean, if you want that, you have that aspiration to help their perspiration, you go ahead. That's what I say there. Yeah, Monique's laughing. Nice, Neil. Fiercey saying, speaking of tryouts, update on Fiercey Jr. This is the stuff I want to hear about. She was not selected as part of the team she really wanted to do, Ottawa Next Level, but we got good feedback for her to try again next year. She was selected at another club, but had to decline the offer as she was offered a coaching job at her school for the juniors team. She's really excited as she will also play her final school year as a senior. That's awesome. Okay. Well, this is the thing. Like, different doors will be open and different doors will be closed at different times, but that doesn't mean she should give up. And that doesn't mean she should get disheartened. She should just keep going and go for the plugging in. That sounds like what y'all did. You looked at different options. And well, the one that's right for you for this year, it sounds like the one you found. That's going to be really good for her to have the coaching aspect, to be doing coaching stuff in some ways for younger people. So this is awesome. I love this so much. You know what? In fact, we're going to do a Share the Love Club for Fiercey tomorrow. We're going to do the Share the Love Club for Fiercey Salsera and Fiercey Jr. and youth sports and basketball. I was going to do something else, but it doesn't seem like that one's going to be what we're going to do tomorrow. So we're going to do Fiercey Salsera's Share the Love Club. Finally, I did promise you one a couple weeks ago when it was around your birthday. So we're going to go ahead and do it tomorrow. We're going to do the Fiercey Salsera Share the Love Club. And by proxy, we'll share the love for Fiercey Jr. and her journey in youth basketball. And the one we're going to do that I was going to do tomorrow, we'll do eventually. It's just I don't think that this one's ready according to the person I wanted to do it for. So we're going to do Fiercey Jr. and Fiercey Salsera tomorrow, the Share the Love Club. So let's share the love for a mother-daughter relationship in basketball. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. That's what we're going to do. We're going to share the love for the WNBA and women's sports and women playing basketball. And that is epitomized by the mother-daughter relationship of Fiercey and her daughter. I love that so much. That's what it is. You're gonna get your share of the love tomorrow. That's right. So Marie, I'm gonna need a picture of you guys. I don't know if I need a picture of her, but at least a picture of you on a basketball court or something like that. We're gonna have to figure out what the picture is gonna be for the stream tomorrow. I'll get to you after the stream. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Let's see. Kaz is saying good luck to Fiercey Jr. on her coaching and congrats. Yeah, it's a big deal. That's a lot of responsibility. And it'll be really good for her to grow too, I'm sure. And that's great they gave her feedback. These are tough clubs to get into. I know with my nephew, and he does baseball down in Atlanta. He tries to get on some top teams, and some of them he gets on, and some of them it's tough. He doesn't get through to them. So it's like keep plugging away. The opportunities are meant to be what they're supposed to be at the time when they happen. That's what it is right there. Most saying W stream, W vibes. Go Raptors for life. Keep at it. Always likes. Raptor Free Crew strong forever. Just help me limit the comments. I appreciate that, Mo. And there have been days recently where you haven't been here, and I've had to do a Lexathon. Where I'm talking for 3 hours, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. Fierce is saying thank you to Kaz. Nako's saying I haven't found They haven't found Kirk's killer yet. If Kirk believes what he says, then he would think his death is justified. Yeah. If he's not full of shit, like I'm privileged, this is the world I want for everybody else, but I don't have to live in it. Well, you live in it still, buddy. That's just the damn truth. And honestly, I talked about this already. I said if there were sensible gun laws, Charlie Kirk may not be dead today. Seriously. So in some ways, he actually kind of set himself up for this. It's kind of like walking into the rake and hitting yourself in the face is really kind of what it is. Somebody posted yesterday that, the gun control debate has been won by the gun over Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk tried to say this and that. Well, the debate is over. The gun won the debate. And it's final. The decision's final. The gun won the debate about gun control and the problem with guns, Charlie Kirk. And the ironic thing is he was sitting down right then to start talking about guns to those youth. And then somebody shot him. He literally was talking about guns and rights to guns. And then somebody with the right to have a gun, I guess, shot him. I mean, it's crazy, man. Kaz saying this kind of reminds me of that pharmaceutical CEO that got gunned down a while ago. Yeah, Luigi. No, these are true. Like, listen, Anonymous is a real thing, guys. Anonymous is a real thing. And there is a network of people out there that are kind of in contact and they're figuring things out. And, that's the other thing. That NFL shooter was not trying to go for them. They got their target. And that was that Blackstone executive. Because Blackstone is a mortgage company and a real estate company that is buying up huge amounts of real estate around the United States and even here in Canada. And they're part of the reason why the housing market sucks and nobody can own a house. So everybody tried to say, oh, that guy had concussions. And he tried to go into the NFL office to shoot up the NFL because he was confused because of concussions. No, that's a cover. What happened was, just like with Luigi shooting the guy in the street, a shooter came and shot a woman who is one of the main reasons why housing is so horrible in the United States. Like she is singularly one of the main people from that company that drove up housing prices. So you see Luigi shoot somebody who's involved in pharmaceuticals and driving up healthcare costs. You see the shooter, the NFL shooter, shoot somebody who is driving up housing costs. You see somebody shoot somebody who's indoctrinating young people into spewing hate for MAGA. There is, and this is why they're worried. This is why they don't want to give any power. This is why they're disgusted by the hero that Luigi is to a lot of people, because they're like, oh no, we can't have this, because they're scared shitless, because this kind of shit they can't totally do everything about. Charlie Kirk is not going to have the protection that Donald Trump has. And in some ways, shooters may understand they can't get all the way to Trump or Vance, to be honest, but they can come and get somebody like Charlie Kirk, like they did this week. So there's a lot of strategy. And this is what I'm going to say also. The MAGA side's not as smart as the other side. The side that Luigi's on is way smarter and way better at doing certain things. And that's the thing that they're going to find out more and more as time goes on. It's just like with Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine is innovative and smart, and they're doing things very intelligently right now. Putin is not. Putin's fucking up left and right. Well, MAGA's fucking up left and right also, with their National Guard trying to be strongman, take over stuff. And meanwhile, the resistance is doing things in a very interesting way otherwise. So yeah, Anonymous is a real entity. And Anonymous is hackers. And Anonymous is people like Luigi. And understand that this is the Robin Hood of our times. Sure, it's murder. Sure, it is criminal. But what is justice in the whole bigger scheme of things? That's what you have to ask yourself. That Luigi shot a man who made a ton of money and profited and benefited for himself off the misery and death of others. In fact, the motivation for Luigi and what he did is probably because he had somebody in his life that he cared a lot about, and he made the direct linkage that they passed on, or he lost them, or something bad happened to somebody he loved, to these people. So this is what I'm saying. You guys want to be robbing us from the top, billionaire class, oligarchs? You better be watching your shoulders, because, this is the thing. They're not going to give you all a protective detail like Donald Trump does. And you guys may be asking for this, and this may be part of the whole thing with people calling, for more security around their houses and things like that, because they're scared, because they know they're robbing us blind from the top, and they're absolutely immoral. So what is moral or just? Murdering somebody who's made billions of dollars or millions of dollars off the backs of everybody else's misery, or showing some retribution? Seriously, I don't know. I'm not condoning murder. I'm just saying, in these kind of situations, you got to look at it from the whole big picture. And the big picture was these CEOs that were murdered were absolutely parasites and not good for society. They were not good for society. They were good for their corporation and making money and profits and getting big, huge payouts for screwing over everybody else and their systems. But they were not good for society. And Charlie Kirk wasn't either. Let's just put it that way. That's right. That's right. He raised the drug prices by a ridiculous amount. And he got shot on the sidewalk. That's right. That's right. I mean, listen, some sort of justice is going to come around. Some sort of justice is coming around. And, the justice, they may crack down, and they may be like looking for people that may be looking like this. But that's why Anonymous is anonymous. That's why they operate the way they do. I have nothing to do with them. If they watch me and they say, oh, this guy knows about Anonymous, I have no fucking idea who Anonymous is. I have no connections to Anonymous. I'm just a regular dude who's living my life, and I can see things happening. And I know that there's an entity called Anonymous. So, yeah, the investigators or people like that who say, oh, we got to go see Raptor Street because he knows about Anonymous. I don't know anything about Anonymous. So you can ask me. I would say, I don't know anybody in Anonymous. I'm just the one dude. I'm a Raptor freak. I do a channel on YouTube. That's it. That's it. That's right. That's right. Trevor's saying Charlie plays stupid games, receives stupid price. That's right. That's his rhetoric. His rhetoric, it caused his own death. I mean, that's the ironic thing about it. His rhetoric, it made the environment for his death to happen and the way it did. And I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying it's right, but it happened. That's just the pure damn truth of it. It happened. That's right. Nako saying, I think that CEO denied a lot of people's insurance. Yeah. Well, they drove up costs and they profited from it. That's the thing. There's a lot of people that are oligarchs and rich CEOs and corporate types that are absolutely immoral at this point. If they were better at their job and they were thinking about society and the health of society, you know what? You wouldn't have a bullseye on you, is what's happening here. Seriously. If you were a social contract with the society and doing things business-wise that is good for society and not so detrimental and negative for society, you know what? You wouldn't be targeted. That's what I'm saying. So Isaac's saying, I have empathy for everyone, but my preference is to focus my energy on those that are reciprocal. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. The crazy thing is the right wing's so outraged and so upset about this. Where was all this outrage about school shootings? Where was all this outrage about the assassination of the Minnesota lawmaker earlier this year? Where is all the outrage about Pelosi? You were joking about it. You were ghouls about it. You were laughing about a lot of the violence towards the other side. So why the fuck do you expect us to be so sympathetic towards this? In some ways, I'm not going to celebrate. I'm not going to dance on the man's grave. But at the same time, you can't force me to be sympathetic to his death. That's once again totalitarian dictatorship. If you are forcing me and telling me how I should feel about an event, and this is the only way I'm supposed to feel, yeah, that's what fucking fuckface over in North Korea tries to do to his people. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. That's right. Let's go. All right, let's see. Kaz is saying 10-4, Nako. Lex, the suspect identified as Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who then contacted authorities. All right, well, let me look at this. I mean, because there wasn't anything like this in some ways. Like, this is weird. We'll go look at it real quick and let's just see if this is something that is here. Okay, yeah, they're saying that the suspect in Charlie Kirk's shooting is in custody. Okay, they are saying that. Suspect is caught, what we know. Okay, well, this just happened while I got on here. I haven't seen it. Well, there you go. All right, well, thank you for the news. Either way, we'll see how this all goes down. Most saying that's too soon for me in reference to the Raptors coaching open house. Yeah, you got to get a wheel trans organized. And in some ways, that is in less than a week. That is in like 5 days. I think they're doing that to try and limit the amount of people that come. Is they're throwing it out there and they're doing it before the season even starts. It's very interesting. I hope somebody will go. I'm probably not going to go and Mo's not going to go, but I hope somebody from the Raptor Freak family will go and check it out. Hopefully. Fiercely saying, "Oh, you don't have to Lex. I'm honored to share with the fam and also show support for the youth. It means everything." No, I want to do this. And the reason why I want to do this is because I want to promote basketball instead of football. I was going to promote football tomorrow, possibly, but I'm going to promote basketball instead. And I want to promote women's basketball. And I want to promote you because I did promise you a Share the Love Club earlier around our birthdays that you get a Share the Love Club, as I did Trevor. And now I want to do Fiercey because I want you to get a Share the Love. You do. You deserve one. You've been a long-time Raptor Freak and a very supportive, awesome member. And so we're going to do this tomorrow. We're going to share the love for Fiercey and Fiercey Jr. That's right. Cream saying Charlie Kirk promoted himself as Christian and then went on tour explaining why he wasn't. Yeah, that's it right there. I'm going to give Kareem a dunk. Seriously. I mean, you have to listen to his message. It's not Christ-like. And the sad thing is, if Christ people are following people just because they say they're with Jesus, you need to be listening to them critically. Seriously. Not every person that's supposedly Christian is actually acting Christian. That's the thing. I don't purport myself as a Christian. I'm technically like in my family is Christian, and there's a lot of that, but I don't identify as a Christian. But in some ways, I follow the Christian ways better than somebody like Charlie Kirk. Like, seriously, he can go out there and say all this. And once again, it's not what you say, it's what you do and how you live your life. And if you're benevolent and kind to strangers and you're all for one for all, love for everybody, equality, that's Christ-like. If you're spewing hate towards immigrants and gay people and you're saying shit like you think that Martin Luther King was a horrible person and that he deserved to die, well, that's not Christ-like. I think that Martin Luther King was one of the greatest Christians in the last 100 years on this earth. Seriously. If you're ranking the greatest Christians, if we're really going to get into this power rankings, MAGA people, about who the fuck is actually a real Christian and who's done the most in the followings of Jesus Christ, Martin Luther King Jr. is going to be in that top 5, like a Michael Jordan is in the greatest of all time kind of list in the NBA. Like, seriously, that man is a real martyr. That man got shot. That man was putting out the peace and love in a different brand than Malcolm X. And in some ways, he was very powerful and he did a lot of work of Christ that made a lot of difference. What did Charlie Kirk did? He went from college campus to college campus, going to youth that may be disaffected and sad because the society is hard to live in because the economy is worse because of people that pay Charlie Kirk. And then he goaded them into a fear-based ideology because the immigrants are coming to take their jobs. He capitalized on people. He's a shim-sham man, just like Donald Trump, and selling all kinds of bullshit to young people to get them into a cauldron of hate. In some ways, Donald Trump's the emperor, and Charlie Kirk was Darth Vader. And he went out there and he tried to induct people into the dark side. That's what he was doing out there, man. The Charlie Kirk's platform wasn't for love and Christ. It was for hate and marginalization and subjugation. And people need to understand that. They need to understand that. Kaloy's saying they found the alleged shooter. Hang on. They found the alleged shooter, and no, he is not POC trans, a white suburban kid who has dad in law enforcement. There you go. There you go. The first guy they found, they tried to say something about trans, something in the bullets or some bullshit. Whatever. That's the kind of stuff that Charlie Kirk was doing. That's kind of ironic. He was giving information out that was misinformation, often that was not true, to stoke hate and division. And they, in the murder of Charlie Kirk, they've used it from the other side to do that even further in that kind of way by jumping to conclusions and all this kind of stuff. Some people are saying, oh, the left is out of control in what they're doing. No, bullshit. If we take the list of the incidents that have happened in recent years of political violence, Trump supporters are committing most of it. There's very few the other side that are coming the other way, and they're usually not organized in some way as like I'm a Biden person or I'm this or that. No, these are very much Trump supporters who are doing shit like Pelosi, murdering the Minnesota lawmaker, the violence towards different people in different places at different times, trying to set Josh Shapiro's house on fire. These were all bona fide Trump supporters. And, you know, they're going to try and link this guy. It sounds like, okay, so you're saying he wasn't POC. So he's not a person of color. He's a white guy. He's not trans. He's straight. And his dad is in law enforcement. Okay, there you go. That's what you need to know right there. And the Fox News will probably still spin it somehow, some way. Oh, he's a crazy lunatic liberal still. And say all this kind of crazy stuff. Kareem saying Isaac's last comment is how I live my life. Fuck Duncan fucking Duncan for that shit. There you go. What did Isaac say? What did he say? I have empathy for everyone, but my preference is to focus my energy on those that are reciprocal. Yes. Yes. There you go. That's very much the right way to be right there. That's awesome. Let's see. Cream saying preference is to focus my energy on those who are reciprocal. Isaac Campbell. Yeah. Yeah. He did say that again. Okay. Alexis saying, Randolph saying this. Malcolm Brogdon and the Knicks came to a contract agreement today. They also came to a contract with Landry Shamet once again. 1-year contracts for Brogdon and Shamet with the Knicks this season. It's an interesting pickup for the Knicks. The Knicks are catching a lot of guys, and they're trying to make a very deep, talented roster. They got Yabusele from the Sixers. So their roster is going to look a little different. They retooled it. There's no more Precious, and there's some people that have left, and there'll be some new faces. It'll be interesting to see the mix in New York, especially with their new coach, Mike Brown. Now, ESPN has an article out this morning that's very interesting. They're breaking down every NBA team's biggest roster hole and what each team should fix. This is Kevin Pelton's article, and he's pretty good to the Raptors today. He's not that bad to them. He's saying our biggest roster hole is efficient shot creation, and I think that's fair. I think that's fair. See, look, I'm not going to totally just diss what you guys say. If you guys are being fair, I'll put it on blast, but often you're not being fair. Let's just put it that way. He's saying that the Raptors had just 2 players last season with an above average usage rate and better than 55% true shooting percentage. Emmanuel Quickley, 33 games, and since departed reserve, Chris Boucher. Brandon Ingram could help after posting a 57.6 true shooting percentage during his New Orleans career. More than that, a healthy roster will spread the load and lift shooting percentages. See that he's forecasting positive stuff. That, you know, if we get a healthy roster and we can shoulder the load across, the shooting percentages will go up for Scotty and other different people, RJ and other people because of that. So I don't have a real big problem with what Kevin Pelton wrote about the Raptors today on ESPN. It seems like it's fair. And you know what? He's given us the recipe for how it can be avoided. And it seems likely that it will be avoided, honestly. Let's see. Kaz is saying they're saying online the shooter who killed Charlie Kirk was turned into the authorities by his father. Okay, so it was his dad, the law enforcement officer, figured out who it was, and he's the one who turned him in. Well, it sounds like his father may be sympathetic to things. Well, he's a cop. He has to. That's probably what it is there. In some ways, that he could get in so much trouble if he had knowledge of his son's involvement in this and he didn't do something. It could be his career. So I understand that. In some ways, that's like loyalty to your job over your family. That's kind of a weird situation right there. So, I mean, that sucks. In some ways, it's like, you know, he might have gotten away with it. And maybe if his dad didn't tell on him. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. This is crazy, man. Let's see. Fiercely saying, Kirk also said Haitians eating pets is the new normal, and these idiots should be condemned and mocked mercilessly. We do not eat pets. Yeah, that's insulting directly to people of Haitian descent like MJ. Like, seriously, this is not helping things. Your misinformation to dumb people, to tell people that people are eating pets, and especially during the election, that was so wrong. And Charlie Kirk was involved. Charlie Kirk was involved. That's right. Kaloy saying apparently the shooter's dad is a preacher as well. Maybe you got tired of Kirk using Christianity to spew hate. Well, in some ways, we got to remember too, the kids sometimes rebel against their parents and they're not totally with what they are. It could very well be that their father is very MAGA, Christian preacher and a cop. And the son is like, you're full of shit, dad. I'm a teenager and I can see how full of shit you are. Teenage rebellion can manifest in different ways. And well, in some ways, maybe the training and the knowledge that his law enforcement dad taught him was a part of how he was able to pull off what he did. So, it is what it is. I know some people hate that statement, but you know what? It's the damn truth. It is what it is. And you want to change it? Well, you should have changed it before so that it wouldn't have happened. That's right. It's so fucked up. That's right. So fucked up. Blackhawk saying more Epstein emails exposed. UK ambassador to US sacked because of it. Yes, this stuff is going to come out one way or another. The memoir by Virginia is going to come out, and she lists people in that 400-page memoir. This woman died mysteriously earlier this year. I wouldn't put past some bullshit like Jeffrey Epstein going to death and suicide in jail. That Virginia wrote a book, and it's a tell-all, but it's safeguarded and people can't get to it. And they're going to release this book, and it's going to be huge. Watch. If it's true and they can really put it out there and it has some bombshells in it, it might give us the list without getting the list. Because that's the thing. These women that are the survivors of the Epstein Island are putting their own list together. And whether the politicians put it out or not, they're going to put their list out. They're going to compare notes and they're going to say, yeah, I remember this person was there and this person was there. And we're going to get a list either way. So y'all trying to hide it and trying to be like this, it's going to come out eventually and the truth will be told and you will get the repercussions. In some ways, this is the dawning of the age of the veil being lifted and repercussions are for the crimes of the past. That is what this era of time right now is. It's just started right now. And this is what it is. It's time to pay the piper is what they call it. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Kaz is saying a lot of people online smell bullshit and saying this guy they arrested is smoke and mirrors. They're just covering it up. Had to be a professional hit in my eyes. That's the thing. That's the thing. Conspiracy theories abound. In this world, they use conspiracy theories to try and tell reality and make a conspiracy theory the truth on both sides, whether it's about COVID vaccines, whether it's about this or that. In some ways, I know that the assassination attempt on Donald Trump last year was faked. I know it in my heart, deep inside. I can't tell you exactly how they did it or the evidence. I can tell you kind of how they did it. And I know in some ways there's a lot of people that are ballistics experts that could tell you exactly how this is not totally adding up. And why wouldn't they do this in election year, trying to bolster him and do all kinds of stuff to try and make him look like a tough guy and stuff. So when I heard about the news this week, my initial reaction was, well, they're just doing their assassination attempt of the year. They're staged. And no, but the guy actually died. And now that more things are happening like this, I could, this is critical thinking. This is how you critical think. This is what they're teaching kids in Finland. To critically think, you got to think, well, would they actually cover up that they haven't caught the guy to show that they are not powerless and that they need to catch somebody and just do something like this? I mean, there's been a lot of talk that the guy that they took for Trump's assassination attempt was not lining up to be the right person, that he was a patsy, that he's a patsy. That's the correct term, a patsy, a stool pigeon, somebody that was just used as a fall guy in the situation. And in some ways, the use for this is that the administration, the FBI, the law enforcement don't look bad because they let a guy get away with it. And then other people that copycat can see, oh, we can get away with it if we want. Now, the people on the inside, the anonymous people will be like, yeah, they didn't catch the right person. They know because they know who the person is. And they'll be like, yeah, they're being emboldened because this formula worked. And then they're going to go ahead and make a patsy just to make sure that to try and tell everybody, oh, don't copycat this because you can't get away with it. That's the thing. Every second that ticks where they don't have the person that did this is like, wow. And in some ways, they'll do fucked up shit like this and make a patsy just to save face. Because it could be that they have no idea whatsoever who actually really did this. And they have no leads and they just need to do something for damage control right now. That's a conspiracy theory. I'm not saying this is true, but in critical thinking, you have to think about all the different possibilities in these kind of situations. That's what I'm saying right there. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah, 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 yeah. It very much was a professional hit. Apparently, once again, the shot was 2 feet football field long, and yeah, it's definitely done by a very professional shooter, very very good shooter too, because he got him right on the mark, right on the mark. Let's see, 22-year-old with no training sniped the guy in the neck with top precision in the artery. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The whole Trump thing, the guy didn't really line up with the specs of what he was trying to do. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, with the Trump thing, they had to have a really good marksman because they didn't want to actually kill him. They wanted to just nick his ear or make it look like they shot near him, but they didn't actually shoot near him. And you remember they made those like weird slow motion cameras that you could actually see the bullet whizzing by him. Well, they knew that they needed that. That's why they had those special cameras there that day. I mean, that's part of adding up to it right there. And then once again, I don't think the bullet actually went anywhere near him. I think he fell to the ground and cut his ear like Vince McMahon would blade a wrestler. And then he jumped up with his cut ear, like, oh, I got shot in the ear. I grazed me. And I'm Superman. I can't be killed. I think that's what happened, honestly, guys. Seriously. Midas Touch just posted it. Okay, interesting. Midas is a good news organization to watch right now. In some ways, the mainstream media is not right. Midas Touch is one of the better outlets right now for kind of trying to figure things out in some sort of semblance of, I know some people say Midas Touch is just really left leaning and is not actually balanced. Well, in this world, the way it's going right now, that is more balanced considering how everything's going so fascist right now. So let's see. Finland's getting spanked in the fourth, 96-80 with 3 minutes remaining. So Laurie is losing to Germany. Germany is taking care of Finland right now. So Dennis and Franz are going to get to the finals game, and it'll be between Giannis and Alperen in the game after for Turkey and Greece to decide the final of Eurobasket 2025 for Sunday. Okay, good news. Thank you, Carl Kaloy, for the news update on that game. Fiercely same question is why are they releasing the book now? Who did not abide by their end of the deal? What do you mean releasing the book? The book that Virginia wrote was getting prepared to be released. In fact, it may have been delayed because she passed away all of a sudden. She died in the spring of this year in Australia. And it was very mysterious. Like it didn't make total sense to me. I saw a red flag right as soon as I heard she was dead. As far as she's like the most well-known Epstein victim. And in some ways, the writing is on the wall. Trump's trying to do everything to protect himself. Why wouldn't he have her killed? Especially if he knew that she was writing a 400-page memoir that names him in it. So I think what happened is the book is just coming out on the time it's supposed to. And it got delayed because she passed away. And it was going to come out anytime. It could have came out earlier this year, and they delayed it because she passed away. I don't know. It's this point. I know that the family's wishes are that the book comes out and the truth is told. And, in some ways she's not there to see it happen. Sadly, they're saying she committed suicide and that she passed away because of the angst and the sadness from her tragedy with Epstein. That's what they're saying. So yeah, that's the whole story with that, Fiercey. The book was supposed to come out this year earlier, but it got delayed because she passed away. Elbows up. That's right. W stream, W fam. That's right. All right. Neil's saying, I agree, Lex. DT's assassination was pre-planned, all for votes. Yeah, it's a Vince McMahon playbook. Vince had to retire from WWE, and he's been on Donald's Council of Elders. And it's straight out of WWE wrestling kind of shit. The Trump assassination plot last year is straight out of that. It's got all the fingerprints of VKM all over it. I'm telling you, Vince probably was the mastermind of that idea. I'm not lying, man. I bet you Vince McMahon was like, oh, Donald, I'll bet you what you need to do is you got to get excitement behind your brand. You can make yourself the most powerful man in the world and seem like you're invincible. Oh, Vince, I really like this idea. You're always coming with good ideas. It's going to be huge. Yes. And listen, I promise you, they won't hurt you. This is what I do in wrestling. We have the illusion of violence. We can make it look like you got shot, and you won't actually have gotten shot. It's a blade. You take the blade out and you just slice your earlobe. It's like shit like that, man. I'm telling you, Vince McMahon had something to do with that shit last year. It just got his fingerprints of creativity all over it. I just know, watching wrestling for so long, that Vince wrote. It's just how it is, man. There's no way his ear survives a true grazing. Yeah. The thing is that that's what the logistics on the gun experts, the ballistics experts said. The caliber of the rifle does not just nick or graze. It explodes. If something touches that bullet, that hot ass bullet flying through the air like that, it is rupturing. It's not going to be back and whole later, a week later. That's a blade. You can cut it and it'll grow back and be fine. This is exactly right. You know, Trevor's saying somebody made a fake Facebook account and put a guy named Michael from Canada as the shooter that killed Charlie. That was crazy. That's what I'm saying. We are in a world of AI. We are in the world of fakeness and critical thinking now more than ever. The Scandinavian countries are teaching their kids critical thinking at an early age, and they're going to be ahead in advance. And the United States wants sheep that can't think for themselves, and they want to tell them what to think. So critical thinking is one of the most important life skills that anybody can teach their children at this point. You better teach your kids how to critically think. I'm telling you, because in the world they're growing into, it's going to be more and more fake than ever. That's right. He smeared ketchup on his face. KFC eating motherfucker. That's right. And in some ways, he throws the ketchup when he gets angry, and then they put the ketchup on his ear when he wants to act like he got shot. That's right. Dude threw his life away to life in prison. Who did? Who did? That son of the police officer? He may be a patsy. He may be a patsy. He didn't throw his life away. In some ways, I would say this. You think Luigi threw his life away? No, he's a message. He's a symbol. In some ways, Luigi is more powerful in prison in some ways right now, just as a symbol. And in some ways, look, you could say this guy threw his life away by shooting Charlie Kirk, but I don't even know if that's the guy who shot Charlie Kirk. So in some ways, I don't believe it totally. In some ways, why would I believe the mainstream media or even anything that Donald Trump or Kash Patel saying? Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, was trying to say that this is a trans person that shot him initially, just putting out bullshit that was irresponsible, that had nothing to do with what's going on, just promoting hate towards trans people by saying this. This is the head of the FBI right now. This is what we're talking about. This is the cartoon world we're fucking living in right now. This is it right here. Yeah. Isaac saying, my friend Charlie Angus started Midas Canada. Sub up. Are you friends with Charlie Angus? Because he's badass, man. I really like him. I started following him. You actually know him? I bet Isaac does, because Isaac is very politically involved in Canada, and he does know politicians. So, wow, that's pretty cool. Dunk for Isaac, for his friend Charlie Angus. I actually really have a lot of respect for that Charlie. Let's just put it that way. I have a lot of respect for that Charlie and the work he's doing up here politically. 60 on the dunk charts for Isaac Campbell for having a cool friend named Charlie. A cool Charlie friend. That's right. Neil saying her enemies knew she was writing the book. I believe you, Lex. She was sold out. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Virginia dying suddenly like that just didn't make sense to me. Like, you got to understand the things that happened to her with Epstein's Island was not recent. Like, she went to Epstein's Island like maybe around the late 90s or early 2000s. And so if she's working through the grief of that, and then she killed herself now, right before she's coming out with the book, Critical Thinking, Windhurst that shit, does that make any sense? If the pain and the suffering and the tragedy of the abuse at Epstein and Trump's hands at the island happened like 25, 30 years ago, and now all of a sudden she circles around and kills herself about it earlier this year when she's just about to write a tell-all book? No, critical thinking, guys. Critical thinking. Just like you think Epstein hung himself. Critical thinking, guys. Critical thinking. That's right. Isaac worked for Charlie Angus. I love that. I love that so much. All right, we're at 2.5. Let me go on to the straight goods for the Canadian goods. This is a product that I use at my house all the time, and it's EcoMax. EcoMax is a cleaning company out of Canada. They're Canadian owned and manufacture strong, eco-friendly focus on Canadian operations. It's in Ontario, and it's sourced from here. And it's all green products and green good stuff. EcoMax makes stuff like dish soap, fabric softener, laundry detergent, glass cleaner, degreaser, all kinds of stuff. Anything you need to clean, it can be green friendly and Canadian 100%. EcoMax is your company. Stop buying the American products from Dow and the big corporate conglomerates from down south. Fuck that shit. Support Canada. Buy Ecomax cleaning products is what I'm saying today. That's right. Boom goes the dynamite. Raptors Reddit reactions. They're saying the Raptors have waived Jarkel Joyner. They signed him to an Exhibit 10 and waived him for setting him up to be on the 905 this year. Joyner will be our Javon Freeman Liberty / Kennedy Chandler this year, guys. Watch. He'll be the player that annoys the hell out of me all year on G League. Watch. I can already predict it. The Jarkel Joyner is going to be the one that annoys the hell out of me on 905 already. I can say it like that. Let's see what else they're saying here. Somebody on here named Jamie on Raptors Reddit is saying, I think RJ will be wildly efficient this year. I love what he's saying here. You go on, Jamie. You go on. First factor is he'll primarily be playing off ball. Yes, that's true. I like that. Second, he's going to get favorable matchups for sure. The attention that Brandon is going to take, and Scotty himself too, is going to help RJ immensely. So, yeah, I like what you're saying here, man. Jamie, you're going to get a dunk from me. I don't even know you, Jamie. You're just a Redditor on Reddit for Raptors Reddit. And you know what, Jamie? You're getting a dunk. Jamie on Reddit, you got a dunk for believing in RJ, my guy. That's right. Jamie on Reddit. That's right. That's who's getting this dunk right here. 3-point dunk for Jamie on Reddit. I agree with him. There's a good point right there. No birthdays today, guys. Let's see what else is on my tabs. No, nothing there. All right, we'll do the classic card right now. All right, guys, let me get the classic card out. Let's see. Yeah. Cool Cat saying Virginia stated that she would never off herself. Take that as a warning, guys. Yeah, that's it right there. She would never off herself. Why did she kill herself earlier this year when she was being a strong survivor? That's not what happened. She did not kill herself. I'm pretty sure she didn't. So, yeah, that's sad and tragic. And her family's going to make sure that book gets out no matter what. And it's going to be huge. Seriously. If they let it go out unfiltered, woo-wee, if it's got those names in there. Like I said, if that book doesn't go out, the survivors are going to bring their list either way. That's right. Blackhawk saying Kash Patel is so incompetent after his Charlie debacle. He's been the whole time. He's just a yes man to Trump. That's the whole reason. It's not like he's good at his job. It's not like he should even be in that job. Most of the people that are working for Trump right now are not qualified for the jobs. It's actually really funny because he's so anti-DEI because people are getting jobs that they didn't deserve. That's what he thinks. They were actually very good people, good at their jobs, and they just hit DEI marks also. And he was replacing them with a bunch of jabronis that aren't good at their jobs, that shouldn't be in their spots. And they're only in there because they kiss and lick the boot of Donald Trump. That's the only reason why those people are in those jobs. All right, here's the card of the day, guys. Who is the card of the day? I should look at it. Oh, we just had this card. I'm not going to do this card again. This exact same card we had like a week ago. That's weird, man. I guess I better go through these cards and make sure there's not too many duplicates. Because that was a duplicate. All right, guys, here's the classic card. This one's fun. Can you name this classic NBA player? Full name answer, please. That's right. I can take acceptable answers. There's 2 acceptable answers for this question. This one right here. So who is that NBA player? If you know, write it in the full name answer, and you can get the classic card points for today. Patrick Ewing. That's an interesting guess, Ahmed. He is in the time of Ewing. He's older than Ewing. He does play the position of Ewing. So it is wrong. Patrick Ewing never played for the Detroit Pistons. So that is wrong, Ahmed Gaming. Sorry. That is not right. Let's see. Ewing in the back. Oh, you mean Ewing? Oh, yeah, there's Ewing behind him. Yeah, you're right. There's Patrick Ewing behind him. But we want that Piston, not the 33 New York next to him. That's right. So who is it? Who is it, guys? Amit, you want to take another guess? Or somebody else? Classic card, Isaac Campbell. Maybe Slug Deasy or Reggie are hanging around. They may know who this is in some ways. This player played in the league a long time. A very, very long time. This guy played in the league a long ass time. In fact, this is near the end of his career when he was on Detroit at this point. Very, very close to the end of his career. Yeah. His name is like one of my favorite things in the world. His name is one of my favorite things in the world. Yeah, if you can figure it out from that clue. Also, his last name is the same last name as the lead singer from the old punk band Black Flag. Well, there you go. That should give it to Isaac right there. Herb Williams is not right. Herb, you think one of my favorite things is herb? I'm gonna give you a dunk for that. That's pretty funny. It is a plant. What the name is? It's not herb though. It's not herb. But you're on the right track. One of my favorite things that's a plant is this guy's name, and his last name is the original lead singer of Black Flag. Tree Rollins is exactly right. Tree Rollins. Henry Rollins is the singer. And Tree is one of my favorite things. Tree Rollins. There you go, Amit. You got it. Of course, Tree Rollins, Wayne Rollins, played for the Cavs for most of his career. Oh, he was on Atlanta for most of his career. A little bit on Cavs. But yeah, look at how much he was on the Hawks from 78. You can see how many years he'd already put in. Yeah, Tree Rollins was an interesting player. Very, very interesting player. All right, there you go. Amit Gaming, going way back with the Classic and getting the Classic card as a youngster. This is a player that played maybe 20 years before Amit was even born, and he still got it. That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. All right, Tree Rollins is the card of the day. And because it's a little more difficult, I'm going to give you 150 points for it because that was not the easiest card right there. So 150 to Amit. He's got 2 days in a row getting the Classic card. There you go. You know him from the Hawks? Very, very cool. Yeah. I was just thinking about Plants. Didn't know he played for the Pistons. Yeah, no problem, man. Good job, Amit. Good job. You are a true Raptor Freak trivia champion, my guy. You truly are. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's get out of here. It's 2.5 hours. I've been talking today about the 1-versus-1 All-Star game format and who would you like to see. I personally like to see SGA there. I'd like to see Scotty. I'd like to see Kevin Durant. I think that it'd be cool if LeBron actually tried to do it too. We want the biggest names for this event, Adam Silver. If you guys are going to do this, you better make it the biggest names. And you know what? You may only be able to get the biggest names the first time you do it. It may be very much second-class stars after that. So, man, I don't think this format's going to work. I think that, there's a lot of weird ideas people have, and they like to try and do them, but they just don't fit or work. And I think this 1-versus-1 thing is going to be the latest failure at All-Star break that they've done the last couple of years. All right, Cass, thank you for the W's. Y'all, please like, comment, subscribe, share, join the channel if you want to. Membership has its privileges. You get access to the Discord server where Nins is our admin, and we have all kinds of news, and we do watch-alongs and all kinds of fun stuff there. And then also the Facebook group, which is run by superfan Monique Lawrence, a fantastic place to get all the news you need about Raptors-related subjects. Thank you, Isaac, for putting me on blast, and say hi to Charlie from me, Charlie Angus. That's right. That's my guy, Charlie Angus. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Raptor Freaks. Let's go Toronto Tempo. Let's go WNBA. Let's go Eurobasket. Let's go Dennis Schroeder and Team Germany. Let's go basketball. That's the sport. And tomorrow we'll share the love for youth women's basketball with Fiercey and her daughter. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Fiercey Jr. Let's go Tempo.